And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week in edition here of the PondCast, your weekly talk show where we go over all things StarCraft. I'm, of course, your host, VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing producers in the chat, producers in the background, I should say, and the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. We have a lot to get into. We have a lot to go through here. And of course, I'm typically joined by Yaku, but once again, Yaku, he is no longer available for the podcast on a regular basis. We'll try to get him on during the weekend, during some casting that we have there during tournaments, or even during Dallas. We'll get into that. We'll get into Dallas, but we might be able to drag Yaku on over the weekends. But during the week is unavailable. So best of luck to Yako with his new IRL job. Best of luck, as we have some news to go through. A lot to get through, actually, especially in the lead up to DreamHack Dallas. First things first, we did speak on this a couple of months ago at this point. There were a list of players that were expected to join new teams, and this is one of the final players to join a new team. Welcome, Creator, as Creator has joined Alcadzia Esports. Alcadzia Esports, of course, is known in some of the other esports out there, less so StarCraft 2, more so FPSs. But now they're also stepping into the fray when it comes to StarCraft 2 as well. So Creator, he has finally found a new team. I'll be honest, I was very concerned whether or not Creator would find a new team. I'm referring to the fact that Creator, he did struggle when it came to qualifying for GSL Season 1, as in he didn't qualify for GSL Season 1. And I didn't know, or I still don't know, which events Creator is going to be traveling to in regards to DreamHack Dallas, which is in a couple of days. We have a confirmation of some players traveling, but yet to determine whether or not Creator is going to be one of them. Speaking of, I should probably actually send an image to our producer, because Jimmy has been taking selfies. Has been posting about that. So we'll get there. But yes, congratulations, Creator. When I do mention that there are a list of players that have yet to join new teams, of course, Creator was one of them. Now the last one is Max Angel. Estrella, he's the final player who has yet to join a team. Last week, Showtime joined a new team. We've already had players like now Creator, Gumiho as well, and many others. Classic, Zhao, they've all joined new teams. They've all found a new place to call home. Now just Max Angel, and I feel like a lot of that will depend on his performance at DreamHack Dallas. Whether he does well or not will in a way determine like how well he performs in the end. So we'll see, Pappy, we'll see. Best of luck to Australia and to all those others that are looking for teams. One change that we were not expecting, though, if you recall, I think it was last week where we did mention that, alas, we had Hon Mono looking for a new team. He was looking for a new team to actually support him to go to DreamHack Dallas, which caught me by surprise. I think the reason for this is because Hon Mono nowadays, he still plays in some StarCraft 2 tournaments, but not as much. It feels like he doesn't dedicate as much time to StarCraft 2 as he does to StarCraft Evolution, right? Like he does commit a lot of time to StarCraft Evolution. Certain players like Homono, like 3 Point, Quanta, Prome, like there are certain Koreans that do focus and fixate on that game mode, and StarCraft 2 a little bit less so.
Hold on tight, guys. We will have light back soon. TM. His internet is a little shaky today, but we will make it. So hey guys, how are you doing? Yeah, pretty good. Just you know, producing the podcast. All is well in the land of the pause. Yeah, all is well in the land of the pause. Things are looking good. We finally got some better weather today. Oh, are we getting light back? He's connecting. Not quite. He will be back. I see you guys soon.
I apologize. So do apologize for dropping there, but we are back. I should have actually started with this as well. This is our first broadcast today. It should have been our second. I do apologize. I know that some people were maybe expecting us to go live earlier with the Big Store Monday, but unfortunately, I did not have internet. So I just couldn't cast. I just could not cast the Big Store Monday, which was very stressful and very frustrating. And currently, my internet is very unstable, and most likely I will drop again throughout the broadcast. So do expect that. That I do drop at some point during the news or during the podcast. But well, what can we do? For now, again, congratulations to Homeowner, congratulations to Creator, and yeah, we'll see how well Homeowner can perform coming into DreamHack Dallas. Exciting news to hear him joining the ranks of the players performing there. Meanwhile, that does lead us into our events taking place. The StarCraft Evolution League Code A number 4. Again, this is a bi-weekly tournament. This is for amateur players. This is restricted to players that have never gone above 5.6k on Korea, 5.7k on NA or Europe. So it is MMR restricted. Likewise, also restricted to how well players did perform in certain tournaments. So scrolling down, Prome has been, I think Prome has won every single one. I'll have to double check that, but Prome, he has won many a StarCraft Evolution League Code A. And just double checking here, yes, he has literally won every single Code A. God damn it. And on the one hand, I mean, it makes sense. Prime, he's a level above. Like Prime, he's a very strong player. I would say he's like top 5 Protoss in StarCraft Evolution, at least amongst the Koreans. Amongst the Protoss players, maybe even top 4. Like when I think of the Korean Protosses, I think of Classic, think of Hero. I guess I have to add Hero now. Classic and Hero whenever they do play. Followed by, then you have your Rebellion, your Prime, your Lunacy, right? It's like that's where they come in right after Classic and Hero. So yeah, Prime, he's a very strong player, and he has won literally every single event. But a shout out to Starat. Starat did force him to the ace match, and Zardiant also took a game as well. So Prime, he did bleed, he did work hard for his spot, but does make it through, and yeah, does become our champion. So GG well played. Shout out to Prime for winning the entire event, and we'll see if anyone can stop him. Heading on over, we do have our weekly tournaments. We do have our Initiate Cup for Amateur League Weekly number 126. That's a lot of Amateur League weeklies, let me tell you. So, yes, we do have our Initiate Cup. Ragnar takes the win. Not his first win. Ragnar has been very active when it comes to the online tournament circuit, and it does take down Mirak in the upper bracket finals and Mirak in the grand finals as well. So back-to-back wins there. Did go back and forth. I always appreciate whenever there is a more competitive series, a more competitive matchup. So great to see that there was that back and forth between the two players. In the end, did go the way of Ragnar. Congratulations. Does take the Initiate Cup. Heading on over, we have the Veteran Cup. Veteran Cup is for D3 and D2. Diamond 2 and Diamond 3. We do have some recognizable players here. We have Taldarim, 666. Does make it all the way to the finals to face up against Tonsi. Likewise, I see Sugar caught the second as well. Old Lady, also a regular in these tournaments. But the last Tonsi does actually get his revenge in the finals of the best of 5. Does take the series 3-1. Big win there for Tonsi, the Protoss player. Congratulations over Taldarim. Meanwhile, that leads us over into the Prestige version. Diamond 1 to Masters 2. Now we do get a little bit higher here in terms of skill. We do have Altaid. Oh my god. Alter Benoni. I want to say Bunny. Does actually take down Beast very early on. Very well done. Milka as well in the best of 1s. Oh my god. I don't see. Oh, I was gonna say I don't see Dizzy Dwarf. What's crazy about this tournament is that Beast and Dizzy Dwarf did go down early. These are typically the top players in these kind of tournaments, but no, they both got knocked out early on, which means we have new competitors here making deeper and deeper runs. We do have Hidi Chonet going up against Altaid Benoni in the upper bracket finals, and in the end, Steez comes out of left field, comes down from the lower brackets, knocks out many players here, and does take down Altaid Benoni in the grand finals 5-2. GG. Very strong performance there. Very well done. Steez does take it. Not to be confused with Steek, who is who I think of when I think of Steez. I think of Steek Sneezy. There you go. GG. GG, well played, chat to Steez, for claiming the win. That leads us into the Elite Edition of the tournament, where we actually had a little bit more representation this time. Usually we do have, I should say, a bit of a smaller turnout, but no, we had a decent amount of players here. In the end, we did have Miss Crimson going up against Cobblestone in the finals. Cobblestone does take the win in the end. Crimson takes down Patches, of course, in the process, and SW Pro as well. So shout out to Cobblestone for taking that win. Of course, that wraps up our initial Amateur League tournaments, and that leads into the Nation League Season 6. I believe the first round has concluded, and just a lot of nations here. A lot of nations facing off. Actually, this is the first time seeing the actual lineups as well. We did follow Nation League number 5 last season, and here we have our Bolivian team. That's a lot of players here. Is there an MMR restriction? Yes. Okay. That makes sense. So the team are made of players with MMR around Diamond 1 and Masters League. So I didn't, at least on the Wikipedia page, there's no specifications when it comes to MMR, but Diamond and Masters is what you expect. That's why when I looked at the player lineups, I did notice some players missing, but some solid lineups here. When it comes to notables on each team, Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is the team captain of Team Bolivia. Facebook as well. Facebook, I feel like, should be on the tail end of Masters, or I should say, breaking into GM. Like, Facebook, he's a very strong player, so I think he's around like M1 level, so I think he would be the star player of the team. The other player is a little bit more amateur, but Charlie Cooks and Facebook are the two that I'm going to be looking at. For Team Brazil, we should be familiar with most of these players. Purple, Elevolt, Ades as well. Ades is the team captain. Ades is a very experienced player. Elevolt and Purple, of course, they also competed in the Brazilian Soccer 2 circuit. So I also just realized, Team Brazil, Pure Terran. Pure Terran. Oh my god. They couldn't get like Victor Bansimer or like Ome Victor, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Maybe Taipan as well. I do think there were other like Zerg and Protoss players available, but I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe the captains recruited. That would make sense. Ades, he was in charge of recruitment, and his bias shows a little bit, picking Pure Terran. God damn it. Ades. There was plenty of other options. God damn it. Scrolling on down, we do have Team Costa Rica. Speaking of Neo, Neo is there. Not to be confused with Nier, not to be confused with Neo, not to be confused with Neo Shaggy. There's a lot of Neos in Latino America. This is, of course, the Costa Rican Neo. He does show up in chat from time to time, so big fan of Neo, of course, of all the Neos. Speaking of, there's a new Neo to add. There's Neo Shine. God damn it. Not to be confused with Neo Shaggy. We have Neo Shine. We should host a show match. But yes, we have Neo, we have Yenmi, we have Neo Shine. Those are the three that come to mind when it comes to notables here. Of course, there's a massive lineup of players. But Yenmi, he's also a regular when it comes to tournaments. Neo as well, makes sense to be the captain. I think on over we have Team Czechia, a team that I'm less familiar with when it comes to their players. I do remember Amber Drake from last season. That's a player that does stick in my mind. But it looks like Nuxman was the captain, of course, bringing his team together. No race listed under Nuxman, so he might just be the captain just to like rally the players together. I don't know if he's going to play. If so, we'll find out what his race is going to be once matches do commence. We have Team France, Legend K. Oh, makes sense. Legend K. Of course, he's a caster and content creator, and also does play in amateur events as well. So Legend K was the initial team captain. We have Soothsayer. He does compete in our amateur events from time to time. So he's the first that comes to mind. We have Bullock Jr., another player that also plays in amateur tournaments. So those are the two that do stand in my mind, but plenty of other competitors are here as well. Strong, solid lineup. We then have Team Germany. Germany, I don't know anyone here, but Mac is going to be the team captain. We do have Regal, Main, Mad Max, Inuma, Chris 2, Luthrax, and Gorana as well as their lineup. I'm not familiar with anyone here, but again, I'm sure they're a solid lineup. Germany has a lot of players. We have Team Guatemala, Borrell, of course. He is a team captain, a player that we have casted many times on the channel, is a team captain alongside players that I'm unfamiliar with, but I know that Team Guatemala has been hosting some regional events recently, so really cool to see them bringing their own team together. Again, Latin American, we expect a lot of Latin American teams here, as Latin America has a lot of StarCraft 2 players. Leads us into Team Germany, Aztecs. Great to see him back. Aztecs, of course, he retired, I want to say, a year ago, 2 years ago. It's been a long time since I've seen Aztecs playing, and I can see here he's listed as random. This tells us that, again, he is not necessarily competing regularly or necessarily playing his main race, but Aztecs, of course, is going to be a player worth looking at. Quickly double checking when he last played. I'll try to look him up. But yes, Aztec, he last played. Oh, he's been playing in Nation League. Okay. Outside of Nation League, last time we competed was 2023. So, so there you go. Again, he hasn't really been too active since 2023, but great to see him. I should say at least competing in the Nation League. Likewise, we do have his team behind him. Milka is a player that I'm familiar with. Ibra as well. Bali. Oh yeah, that's a decent amount of Hungarian players that we know and love. So best of luck to Team Hungary as they do step into the ring. We have Team Italy as well. Lviv. I think I've seen him before on some of these brackets, but yeah, he's gonna be the team captain.
Lviv has been playing in the 2v2 tournaments, with the U-Thermal tournaments.
There you go. That's where we recognize the name. But he's going to be the team captain. He does have a lineup behind him. Where's Lorimbo, Papi? Where's Lorimbo's off race? Shaking my head. But he does have a nice lineup here. We have Taru, we have Gianluca, and many others. Again, players that I'm not very familiar with, but regardless, a solid lineup, a solid quantity of players as well, a pool of players to draw upon. We have Team Kazakhstan, we have Rainmaker, Time Rainer, Talander, and many others as well. Again, great to see a lot of players from Kazakhstan actually formulating their team. Also very Terran heavy, not as heavy as Team Brazil. I mean, in quantity they haven't beat, but they at least have one token Zerg and one token Protoss. Feels like they almost picked them just to diversify their roster a little bit. So they got the token Zerg and Protoss, but otherwise pure Terran. Meanwhile, we got Team Peru, we have Mike Savage, we got Daryl as well. Those are the two that come to mind as the team captains. I mean, Mike Savage is the team captain. We got Daryl behind him, and we got a lineup of Zerg, Protoss, and Terran as well. Hanging over to Team Poland, we got Eno. We got Eno as the team captain. We got Mathrix. We got Dizzy Dwarf as well. I see Kasperos, Killer B. A lot of players that we have covered many times here on the channel, partly because we also do cover the Polish regional events. So we have seen a lot of these players rock up and compete, and great to see them all lined up here. Honestly, a really strong team, at least for what I can see. So best of luck to the players. Leads into Team Sweden. Team Sweden, another team that I'm not very familiar with. I see Demon. I think I've seen Demon before. We have the team captain in Chicano as well. And they have Cos Phoenix. There you go. Cos Phoenix is here. Cos Phoenix, from my understanding, I believe was Finnish. So might be dual citizenship. We'll see. I'm a little bit confused as to that, but regardless, Cos Phoenix is going to be representing Team Sweden here, not Finland. I just realized Finland doesn't actually have a team. Oh, that might be why he's there. That might be a reason as to why. Regardless, great to see Cos Phoenix competing. Leads into Team Taiwan. Ooh, another team that I'm familiar with. We see Undertaker, who I believe we have casted before, the Zerg player. We have Kamikaze as well.
Quick note, we are being updated by Legoland Man in the chat that Cos Phoenix does actually have dual citizenship. He was born in Sweden but lives in Finland.
There you go. Dual citizenship. So is going to be repping Sweden. When it comes to the Nation League. So best of luck to Cos Phoenix and of course his teammates as well. Leads into Team Taiwan. Again, we have Undertaker as a team captain. We have Kamikaze, not to be confused with Brazilian Kamikaze, but this is Taiwanese Kamikaze. Who, fun fact, we were actually casting Brazilian Kamikaze the other day, and then Taiwanese Kamikaze showed up in the chat, and everyone thought that was him. We had to explain that. Different Kamikaze, probably different one. But a shout to Kamikaze as well. Another notable. We also have Floppy Cat. Let's go. I'm all for it. Rice, Crush, and many others. Again, just the top two that I'm familiar with, but I'm sure a strong lineup nonetheless. That leads into Team Ukraine. We have it's Set. Set, he's a regular in our tournaments. The Ukrainian Zerg player, alongside his lineup. Another set of teams I'm less familiar with. Oh, hey, there's Taldarim. It's all coming together. There's Taldarim, I believe the player from the Amateur League Weeklies as well. So it does compete in a lot of amateur events. We were able to piece them all together here, and they are, of course, competing. They are going to be facing off and representing the nation, so best of luck. Leads us into the Team UK Gamer Richie. That seems out of place. I mean, Gamer Richie, I think he's long been retired, so I'm sure skill-wise maybe that's lower, but he is an ex-pro gamer. Definitely a big notable as well. I have seen him in the chat from time to time. just quickly double checking, when was the last time he competed? Regularly, he last competed, a long time ago. He has been playing every now and then in like Epic Lands, of course, which is a regional event that does happen quite regularly. So he does play in Epic Lands. Last played in Epic Land October of last year, but he's still a really strong player though. So interesting.
We have once again we have an update from Legon Man that he is just a captain. He's a non-playing captain, and the captain is allowed to not participate.
Well, that makes sense now. that makes sense in the sense that there were some captains that didn't have their races listed, so I would imagine maybe they don't plan on playing, which is why they don't have their race listed. But now that makes more sense for Gamer Richie because again, he is, I would say, out of all players that we've seen so far in the teams, like he is definitely the highest rated player. But if the captains are only there to organize and to rally their players together, then yeah, that makes more sense. On the one hand, that makes sense. On the other hand, now I kind of wish that some of the other nations had a player like that, like to kind of like mother hen like all the other amateurs in. You know, it would be nice. Like I don't know if Taiwan had like Nice, for example. You know, to lead his team, his nation, if you will. If Italy, that's where you get Lorimbo. That's I don't know if you ever want Lorimbo as a team captain. Now that I think about it, but he could have been there to lead his team of Protoss. I just realized how heavy Protoss is Team Italy. Jesus, oh my god. Yeah, I don't think he'd enjoy that environment.
Oh, we are getting another update that Fiant is actually coaching Team Sweden.
There you go. I guess coaching, not captaining, but coaching. That's really cool to hear. It's really cool to hear, and I hope to see more of that. I know that this event is a little bit more niche, and it definitely takes a lot of dedication for some of the more higher tier or pro players to like step up and step in and try to help out their fellow nation players. It definitely is a lot more effort to do something like that, but it's really nice to hear. Really cool. Wish him the best. But yes, coming into the team UK, we have Gamer Richie as the captain. Likewise, when it comes to his lineup here, speaking of Legoland, there he is. We got Legoland Man. We also have Molten as well. Molten is another notable that has competed quite often when it comes to the online events, and also a lineup of many others. Pigeon Wrench, I believe I've also seen when it comes to online brackets. Distan, not to be confused with Dastan. Different player, but best of luck to all the players. A Wiseman, another player that we've featured before, and that does lead us into the team US. Hey, there's Tonsi. Hey, there you go. He also was competing in the previous Amateur League Weekly, so Tonsi, he's got plenty of experience when it comes to these online tournaments. He's going to be the captain of the team US. We have Medic Jr., another player that we're familiar with. We have Cosmic Cow, and many others as well. Medmarine, interesting name. So we have some solid lineups. Coming into this, do we have any favorite teams? I mean, I was very impressed with Team Poland, but that's maybe only because I recognize a lot of players there. Team Poland does look very solid, and I'm sure some of these other teams are as well. I'm just less familiar with a lot of the players, a little bit less familiar. But this is a good way to be introduced to them and introduced to the lineup of our nations. Heading on over, we do have round one concluding for the group stage. We have Group A. Group A consists of Bolivia, Peru, Czechia, Germany, and Team Taiwan. Oh boy, that's actually I just realized this group is larger than the rest. Okay, it looks like we had maybe not the most even amount of groups. One of them had to be a little bit larger, and that is going to be Group A. The first week did. Looks like the first weeks are underway. That's what I will say. We have Bolivia. They take down Taiwan 4-2. So a strong start here for Bolivia. Looking at the Taiwanese lineup here, looks like we have different divisions to split up the players. Okay. So round 1 is Division 3, round 2 is Division 2, and round 3 is Division 1. So as the matches progress, the players get higher and higher in skill. So it looks like there is an MMR division for the players and for the slots that they can compete in. So it looks like there is an MMR division there. And in the end, Bolivia did take the win. Looks like I'm a little bit uncertain as to what happened between Team Peru and Team Czechia. They might have postponed their match for now and soon to be played out. Hopefully they do. Hopefully that isn't like a reverse walkover or something crazy like that. But it looks like their match will eventually be played out. Heading on over, we have Group B. We have the first set of matches also wrapping up. We have Team Poland, UK, Brazil, and Team Guatemala all facing off in Group B. We had the UK and Brazil actually going back and forth. Oh my god. To go back and forth, we had a 2-0 in favor of Elizer over Nels Great Britain. We have Veni taking down Adonin, and we have Adez tied 1-1 with Distan, and Distan got his revenge. We basically had a best of 3 there, where Distan barely gets the win over Adez 2-1. Big win there for Distan. Very well done. Harnessing his inner Distan. Aha, let's go. Does take the win. Meanwhile, we have Poland versus Guatemala, where initially Doom takes down Lesker 2-0. Big win there for Doom. Meanwhile, Sikas takes down Electric 2-0, and then Matrix takes down Boreal 2-0 as well. Again, Matrix is a heavy hitter. Does take 2-0, does take the win there for Poland. Heading on over to Group C, we do have our lineup here of Hungary, the US, Sweden, and Costa Rica. Let's go. I appreciate that it looks like they have split up the they've for the most part split up a bunch of these teams depending on the region and spread them out amongst the groups. But we had Hungary taking down Costa Rica 4-2. Bali and Shaddix, they tied 1-1. Cheese and Neoshine tied 1-1, and then Milka took down Neo 2-0 in the end, claiming the win for Hungary. Meanwhile, that leads us into Sweden versus the US. We had Tonsi taking down Gargoyle 2-0. We had Cos Phoenix and Zeno Damsel tied 1-1. And we had Cosmic Cow and Inus tied 1-1 as well. So very close, very clutch. In the end, it actually came down to the Division 3 match with Tonsi with that 2-0. So big win there for the US. They do claim the win. Heading on over to Group D, we have Kazakhstan, Italy, France, and Ukraine. Up first, we had Italy versus France. Very close. Went all the way to the ace match here. Escanner and Bullock Jr. tied 1-1. Lori Magic and Starlight tied 1-1. And Gyayuka and Hidik tied 1-1 as well. In the end, actually went down to the ace match. I guess we should get used to this, where the ace match is just a rematch of the Division 1 players. I don't know if that'll ever change. I don't know if you're able to bring in another player, but well, that's basically a best of 3 between those 2 players. And in the end, Gyayuka was able to take down Hidik 2-1. 2-1, claim the win for Italy. That leads us into Kazakhstan versus Ukraine, where we had a bit of a more dominant performance here. I think this is the strongest performance we've seen so far. Like, usually it's like 4-3, 4-2. Yeah, so far. But Kazakhstan, 2-0 over Ukraine. Oh, sorry, initially Chris Across. 2-0 over Taldarim. We had Wafukas 2-0 over Red Hood, and we had Talandar 1-1 against I Love Big Stuff. He loves it, as they do tie up towards the end there. But a big win there for Kazakhstan. A strong performance there from the team. But again, it looks like we have 3 weeks in total in regards to the group stage. I say 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks because of Group A and including additional teams, and also maybe like a postponed match as well. But regardless, over the next month, the group stage is going to conclude. That leads us into the playoff bracket towards the end here, where we have our top 8 teams facing off again. That's scheduled to begin in just over 4 months' time. So over a month. And over a month, we'll have the playoffs as well. So we'll keep you guys updated in regards to the progress of these teams. When it comes to favored teams here, I mean, it's a little bit too early to tell. There's a lot of these teams that I'm very unfamiliar with. When it comes to any personal teams that I want to do well, I mean, there's a lot of teams that do include players that we're familiar with that play in our tournaments or that we've casted plenty of, like the Brazilian team or the Polish team, for example. There's a soft place in my heart for, I don't know, like the Team Costa Rica. I want the Neos to do well. So definitely cheering for the Costa Rican team. But there's also, like Team Hungary has Aztecs, for example, who's near and dear to our hearts as well. A long-time competitor in our tournaments. A little bit biased, of course, a little bit. It's really cool to hear like Fiant, coaching Team Sweden as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and best of luck to all the teams. Best of luck as we progress further into the groups. That leads us into Passioncraft. Emerging Stars number 16, where we had once again, is this 3 weeks in a row? Oh my god, is this a sign of things to come? But Inexorable, he was the number 15 champion, and he was also the number 14 champion. So 3 weeks in a row, as we did mention, has won back to back to back. This is a tournament that is limited to 5.5k MMR and below, and Inexorable, he has been farming this event, but not without any difficulties here. He takes down Dowell in the first round. Remember, Dowell, he's representing Peru in the Nation League. Took down Mini Zerg UA in the semis and took down Anticore in the finals, but did go all the way to the ace match. It was a very close, very clutch series. Was back and forth. In the end, Inexorable did take it 3 weeks in a row. Congratulations. Papi, let some other players, get invited to OSC. Like, what's going As again, as a reminder, the winner of these events, they are qualified and seeded into OSC Elite Rising Star number 16, the next big OSC kind of Rising Star event. So congratulations to Inexorable, and I believe because he's winning so many of these, I believe like second place is gaining those seeds and gaining those qualification spots instead. I believe that's how that works out. But regardless, big win there for Inexorable. That leads us into our next tournament, the Anonymous King of the Hill. This is an offshoot of Firegrow Cup. This was a lot of fun. To be honest. And it was a blast to cover. We did cover this in English, of course. We cast it live. I do recommend the VODs. Basically, we had an Anonymous King of the Hill with 21 players. And each player played on an alternate ID account, and we had very limited information as to who they were. Obviously, the majority of these players were from the CIS region. We knew that. But every day, I think it was day 1, there were 3 Europeans, and day 2, there were 2 non-CIS players. I should emphasize that because it should have been 2 Europeans. One of them was American. By the way, shaking my head. Este threw us off with that one. But it was a lot of fun, like every game, like looking at how they're playing, analyzing how they're playing, and kind of lining it up with other players and trying to associate who's who. It was a lot of fun, and the chat got involved as well. Basically, there was a big Google Doc form that people could fill out and submit, and the viewers in the chat that had the most amount of correct predictions would actually earn some prize money as well. I don't think that's been made public yet, but I'll definitely keep my eye out for it. I'll probably reach out to Mindle for that information. But here we go. We had our King of the Hill. Now, fun fact, there were some of these that were more obvious than others. Coming into this, we had Nicaract. Nicaract, he went to town. I don't think anyone predicted Hydra as the first player. Now, what made this event difficult is that there were some players that, because it's a King of the Hill best of 1, you only ever saw one game. You only ever saw one game, and depending on how that game went, you have such limited information as to who that would be. Such a limited information, especially if it's a cheese. Especially if they get cheesed out, you barely see them. So that was the hardest part, I would say. Is just the limited amount of information that you have to work with to guess who a player is. I don't think anyone predicted Hydra. Hydra came out of left field as the non-EU player and did compete in the first round, and also had a really good showing. Like I remember, it was Hydra versus Nicaract. It was on Persephone. It was on Persephone, and honestly, it was a really high quality game, and had a really hard time placing who it was. And I remember for a long time, I thought the first Terran player was Spirit. I knew there was some Polish players because Indy was casting, so that was like a bit of meta information. It's like, yo, if Indy's casting this event, there's gonna be some Polish players, and there were. So we did expect some Polish representation. So at first I was like, oh, this could be Spirit. There aren't many Terran players to pick between because there are such limited Terran players in the CIS region. Like when it comes to Terrans, I was thinking, okay, Nicaract, Milky Cow, Replicant, and maybe like Zardiant, and like that's it. Right, like that's who you have to pick between. So you have very limited Terrans available to you, and based on how he was playing very macro, very standard. So in my mind, it wasn't Nicaract or Milky Cow, because Nicaract and Milky Cow are hyper aggressive in how they play, but these are not aggressive games. I mean, they were aggressive. There was a lot of drop play, but there were no all-ins. There were no all-ins in these matches. So I was thinking initially Spirit. Someone else in the chat floated the idea of it being Baby Marine, and I settled on Baby Marine. I was like, oh, this guy, he feels like Baby Marine. Fun fact: Babe Marine did play later on in the tournament in match 17. And fun fact, I predicted that Nickeract was Babe Marine, and I predicted that Babe Marine was Nickeract. I had them flipped, Papi. I had them flipped in my personal predictions. So I was close. I just, these Terran players all look the same. They all look the same. Fun fact, I did get Replicant correct and I got Milky Cow correct. They played more stylistic, like they were more obvious. Replicant and Milky Cow, they were easier determinations and easier picks in my mind, at least. So I got those correct, but I didn't get Nick correct. I didn't get Baymarine. I got them mixed up. And Moja, he played as well. There's just so many Terran players that you can pick between. Because I was so certain that Spirit was somewhere here. Like if Baymarine or Nickeract was in first and in 17th match, then I went Spirit for that one. But Spirit didn't play. Spirit, he didn't even play. But Moja, he honestly fought quite well. Scrolling back though, the second match we had Vaxuro out of left field. I don't think anyone, at least in the English stream, I don't think anyone predicted him. Vaxuro is more of a ladder hero. He doesn't really compete too much and compete too often. So it would have been crazy if anyone predicted that. So I was very on the fence on that one as well. That was a game on Last Fantasy. I think, fun fact, I went for GG Machine. I remember I predicted GG Machine for match 2. Because he was playing really well, actually. I was very impressed. Playing really well, but not well but like there was definitely he was definitely rough around the edges. So I'm like, this isn't Young Yakov, this isn't Wayne, like this is a little bit lower than that. So I settled on GG Machine at left field. Vaxuro, there you go. That was the second player. Coming into the third match, this was the obvious one, if you remember. As soon, I think I said his name straight away, and then I was like, yeah. If you remember, Shameless is known for one thing, and one thing only. One, he plays well. He went on a win streak. Took down Nickeract, but he's known for spraying. So he, like, very distinctly, he was spraying under his Nexus and spraying under his first pylon, and only Shameless does that. There are a couple of other players that do spray, but not quite the same way that Shameless does. So he wasn't spraying his juice box like he usually does, because it was an alt account, so we didn't have it. But the sprays tipped us off. So I think everyone predicted that was Shameless, like everyone, or at least I tried to push that to help people out, being like, hey, look, only Shameless does this. It's probably Shameless. So he was a little bit more obvious. He was a little bit more stylistic. Then we had Rostock in match 4. This was more of a standard game. It made it difficult. Like match 1 and match 4 were more standard games, and we only saw one game of Hydra and one game of Rostock. So those were hard. Those were some hard predictions. So I don't know if anyone got those. I can't remember what I went for. I think I rolled the dice and I went like, not Protosaver. I think I might have said like Sickness or something. Like it was as or like Power. Like I had a really hard time with these two. Then we had Moja, of course. Moja was able to take down Shameless. Moja played really well. He played really well, to be honest. I was very impressed by Moja. In the end, he got taken out by GG Machine. And fun fact, GG Machine, he was popping off, and there were people being like, "Yo, is this Rainer? Like, what's going on?" Like, I think that was the fun part, is that there were some people that were predicting like some high caliber players. Some very high players. Same with like Geralt versus GG Machine. That was the highlight of the broadcast for day one. That was like late game Eternal Empire, like 30-minute game, back and forth, spellcaster, max out armies, counterattacks left and right. It was very impressive. I predicted it did look like Geralt. It was a toss up for me. I was like, this is either Geralt or Skillus in my mind. There were people in the chat that were like, yo, is this has to be Showtime. I'm like, no. In my mind, it was either Geralt or Skillus. And because of the composition, because of the style, Skillus is usually a little bit more active, is a little bit more varied with how they play. I think match 9 also helped with that a little bit, but I settled on Geralt, and we got that one. Art, he also had a really good showing against GG Machine. Art, that was also a really hard one to pick, a really hard one to call. I think I went Art for match 10, so I had Art somewhere else, and I think I might have gone UED Soldier here. But it was Art, so I didn't get that one. I know that. Match 9 was obvious. Match 9 was a cannon rush. As soon as we saw the cannon rush, Graph, 100%. we were like, 100. There were some people in the chat that were saying like, oh, maybe it's Mitchneck. I'm like, I haven't really seen much of Mitchneck, so I have a hard time like with confidence saying that. But it was a hardcore cannon rush, and there was also a cannon rushing game in match 10 as well. It's like, mate, if he's only cannon rushing, it's got to be Graph, 100%. And yeah, that was also very stylistic, also one of the more obvious ones. Match 10, that's where I picked Art. It was UD Soldier. Fun fact, that final player hard countered Gref because Gref only cannon rushes, so it was a hard counter to the cannon rush, and Gref was very upset. It's very upset, very sad. But UD Soldiers take the win, and that was all of day one. And I was relatively content with like the amount of predictions we got correct. Again, as I mentioned, we did flip a couple of players, and some of the players were there's one player that I assumed was there which wasn't, which was Spirit, of course. Instead, it was Moja. So really well done there by Moja. It was a lot of fun. That led us into day two. Remember, this was a 2-day event where we had a UD Soldier. Now, the reason why match 11 is missing is because the players were missing. UD Soldier and who was meant to be his opponent. So we unfortunately did miss a match. There was one match that was never played because the players were not there. We had to get a fresh set of players instead. We had Young Yakov going on a tear. He went to town, just winning almost every single game in day two. He got cannon rushed. And I'll be honest, the cannon rush was very distinct. It wasn't committed. It was a macro cannon rush. It was macro. So a lot of people were saying Bonan. I was like, nah, it's a like not all cannon rushes are the same. Cannon rushes are very distinct, even though you can say, oh, this was a cannon rush and this was a cannon rush. This was, I would say, a macro cannon rush, which is not what Bonan does. Bonan usually commits harder. This was less committed. So I looked at that game. I was like, this doesn't. I'm not committed. This is not Bonan. But if we already casted Gref, and if it's not Bonan, and if the Google Doc says it's two non-CIS players, two EU players, like who did I go for? I think I went Michnek. I think that's where I was like, maybe this is Michnek, or like who else cannon rushes? Like it was a hard one, so I think I went Michnek for this one. And then we found out it was Print F. No one predicted Print F because no one assumed there was an NA player. So it's just out of left field, NA players. Like, oh, okay. I mean, you got us. But Print F, he actually played and competed in match 12. Honestly, it was a fun game. Don't get me wrong, but it was a hard one to predict because no one was expecting an NA player because we were all assuming it was two EU. I mean, the forum said two EU players, not from CIS region. So I call shenanigans on that one. Meanwhile, the Zerg player was playing really well, and I was convinced it was Wayne. I'll be honest. I was based on how they were playing, it was either Wayne or Young Yakov, and I basically flipped a coin. And because they were performing so well, and because I didn't get to mention it. GG Machine in day one, I was convinced that was Young Yakov. Like GG Machine, who was playing really, really well, and because I was convinced that was Yakov, like I had to pick Wayne for this one, like, right? It's like if I was convinced one was one player, then the other player had to be the other, right? So I assumed that Young Yakov played in day one, and that this was GG Machine. Sorry, that this was Wayne instead. Alas, I was close, but Wayne played in match 13. They had the ZVZ there. I think that's the player where I went for. Oh god, who did I go for there? No, sorry, I didn't think Young Yakov was GG Machine. I think, did I go for Fiant? I might have gone for one of the non-EU picks. But here we had Wayne versus Young Yakov, and Young Yakov went on a tear. Again, like Wayne and Young Yakov, they're the top two Zerg players in the CIS region, and for this one, I went for Wayne. Alas, was Young Yakov, so I was just slightly off on that one. Then we had Power stepping into the ring. Replicant was more obvious. That was on Jagannatha, correct? Yeah, that was on Jagannatha. Yeah, that did look like Replicant, so we got that one. Power, again, so many of these Protoss players, they play so similarly. I'll be honest, like distinguishing Power from Art, from Hydra, from Rostock, I can't do it. I can't. There are players like Gref and Seamus and Geralt that are more stylistic, but some of these others, I think I just don't cast them enough to with certainty like distinguish between them. But Power did compete in match 14. Then we had Replicant, who was more obvious. I say more obvious. It helps that there are limited Terrans, right? As I mentioned, Nicaract, Milky Cow, Replicant, Zardiant, Protosaver. There aren't many Terran players in the CIS region to pick. So when we saw the game on Jagannatha, I was like, yeah, he's playing like Replicant. Heading on over, we had Nikic. I did go for that one. Nikic was Young Yakov. That was a much more aggressive map. I remember going for Nikic there. Then we had Baby Marine stepping into the ring. If you remember, I had Nicaract there and Baby Marine up top, so I had them flipped. Baby Marine stepped in. Then we had Night Phoenix. Night Phoenix played like Night Phoenix. That was that I remember we got correct. That was a little bit more obvious. A much more aggressive style. Night Phoenix is not standard. He's much more aggressive as a Protoss player, which helps distinguish him from the rest. Looking at you, Power, Art, and Rostock, and UAD Soldier. God damn it. So Night Phoenix is a little bit more distinguishable because of that. And then we had Fallinger for match 19. I think there I had Sickness maybe. And then we had at the very end Milky Cow versus Young Yakov, and we did predict Milky Cow. Like if in my mind if we had Replicant somewhere else and Nick Rex somewhere else, then Milky Cow with his more dominant showing, I mean, it had to be him. So Milky Cow did take down Young Yakov at the end. I think most people predicted Milky Cow as well. And I think the fun thing is that Young Yakov's alternate ID was Decepticon throughout day 2, and at the very end, Milky Cow, he was named Optimus Prime. It was very fitting end of the event. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And again, I'll try to find out who did end up winning and how many they got correct. Again, some of these would have been a little more difficult, but I would imagine that the CIS viewers, the Russian viewers, I imagine they have the advantage of maybe knowing some of these players better. Specifically, the players that I was mentioning, so Art, Power, UED Soldier, Rostock. We cut Vaxuru, and Fallinger. There are certain players here that we do cast, don't get me wrong, but maybe not as frequently as like a Bratok or a MidVK covers them and casts them. So I would imagine that maybe there are certain tells that maybe I'm probably not familiar with that they would be able to use to like distinguish them a little bit more. So I would imagine that they have that advantage, and we'll find out soon. Find out what happened there. But with that leads us. So honestly, that was a lot of fun. I'll probably message. I have to message MinVK after just for some. I know that he wants some feedback. I think my only bit of feedback, specifically, because these are all best of ones, I do think that it would be a little bit better if there was a pool of players that people could predict from, but not like a strict pool. What I mean by that, I think it would be good if I think it'd be better. So for example, here we had 21 players. If we had a pool of maybe 30 or 35 players, like we had like a predetermined pool of like 30 to 35 to pick between, to narrow things down a little bit more. Specifically because I think the CIS players is fine, but whenever they say, okay, we're gonna have like 4 Europeans from outside of Europe playing tonight, it's like there are so many possibilities there, especially for Protoss. There are so many possibilities, so it makes it that much more difficult to try to figure out who the non-CIS players are. And I guess we did get Baby Marine in a way, kind of. But like Mojo was a harder one to determine. Hydra as well. So I think it would be nice if there was like a limited pool, but not too limited, right? Like there's still like, you know, room for error, and there's still like maybe some like baits like names in there as well that you can have fun with to try to bait people in. And then you can have some fun stats where it's like, hey, fun fact, this is a play that most people thought played but didn't. And like that could be like a Showtime, or that could be like a Lambo, or whoever you want to place there, right? Like I think that'd be a lot of fun. Just to make things a little bit easier. Again, I say that specifically just because it's best of ones. So you have, like, because it's a best of one, there are times in this tournament where you had like 5 minutes of a player who got cheesed out, and how do you know who that is? Like, it's so hard. As opposed to the no regret anonymous tournaments where they had like full best ofs, right? So you have more games, you have more information to pull from. So specifically because of the special one format, it would be fun if there was like a pool of players that you can pick from. But regardless, it was a lot of fun, and we might see some more in the future. I hope so. I do hope so. As that does lead us into our next set of tournaments, that leads us into our regional events and show matches into the Legacy Weekly Japan. Let us go. Again, there's a weekly tournament for the Japanese region, for Japanese players. And this week, who did we get on the top? Once again, Sayak, for so many years, he was the best player in Japan. I feel like we see this every week. But every single time, what I love is that there's another contender. There's another player knocking him down. This time, it was not Crimson. It was not Vice Ravania. This time, it was Tapioca. Tapioca-sama. I don't think is that like an alternate ID? I don't think I've seen that before, but I appreciate it. The Tapioca was too much. Does win 2-1. Big win there. I don't think I've seen them win before, so congratulations. I don't know if that's an alternate ID. Like, I don't know if that's Nauticon. No, Nauticon played earlier. Vice Ravania played earlier as well. And Crimson. Okay. It's not an alternate ID, but yeah, big win, big win. They take down Slack 2-1. Congratulations to Tapioca. Where's Republican phone? Kazakhstan, yeah. Printf Auto European. I mean, you can get away with it. I remember looking him up on Wikipedia, being like, "Is Printf? Does he have like dual citizenship or something?" But there was nothing on his Wikipedia that said that. So that was out of left field. But congratulations to Tapioca. That leads us into another new tournament, the Black Cat Cup. It's very cute. It's a very cute like drawn image there. I don't know what it says, but it's cute nonetheless. I don't know what it is with the Chinese region and like cat related memes and cat related things, because we have the Black Cat Cup, we have Team Super Kitty as well. We got like the kitty. There's a lot of Neko stuff, a lot of cat stuff. So regardless, this is a new event, a new tournament. I don't know if it's going to be regular, but you know, it has been organized, has been hosted as well. And with that, we actually had a massive lineup here. We had a big prize pool. Jesus Christ. We had a big prize pool here. We had what, 3,000 yen? That's 400 USD. That's a hefty prize pool. And top 16 got paid. Makes sense why there were so many participants here. We had Silky, we had SCV, we had Lemon, we had Oriana, we had Lancer, of course, as well. I see Restart. Big lineup here for the players. In the end, Lancer did take the win. Again, in my mind, Lancer is the strongest player in China. Jeshi is more inactive alongside the Terran player. Coffee's also a little bit more inactive as well. So I would say that Lancer is currently the best player in China. And I mean, hey, he beat Maru not too long ago either. So big win there for Lancer. Does take it. A shout out to the other competitors though for making him work for it. There were definitely some maps taken from Lancer, so we had more of a back and forth. In the end, Lancer to take the win. That leads us into the Sunrise Cup number 199. We're almost at 200. Let's go. That's a lot of Sunrise Cups, as we did have, once again, another walkover in the finals. Actually, a lot of walkovers. Nanami did take the win, takes down Triple H, takes down Ear, takes down Oriana. And Oriana actually got a walkover and then lost to a walkover. Unfortunately, there was a walkover in the semifinals and in the finals as well. This happened before with Oriana. Hopefully everything's okay. I know if maybe there are some times where it's just unavailable, so just can't quite commit to a full finals or a full night of StarCraft. But in the end, Nanami does take the win from a walkover, or a technical win, I should say. So GG well played. Congratulations to Nanami. That leads us into the Shin King Team League, the spring regular season for 2025. And we're almost at the end here. Round 4 has concluded. We're more than halfway through the round robin group stage. And we had round 4 concluding. We had Little Fairy. They are coming in as the heavy hitters. Remember, they did recently pick up Percival, so they've got some big names at Percival. They have Shameless, they have Ear, and they take the 6-0 win over Team Hist, over TATP, Kingslayer, and their Protoss player as well. So big win there for Little Fairy. Leads us into Team IW versus Rookie Warpgate. A little bit more back and forth, but we did have in the end IW taking the win over Rookie Warpgate 4-2. Leads us into Elpis versus PCEC as well. We did have Nanami take the 2-0 over his opponent. SCV 2-0 over Mixu. Big win there for SCV. Again, SCV has been on the rise. If you've been watching, if you've been tuning in recently, you would know that SCV has been looking very strong and very powerful as of late. Winning about, I think he won a show match against Oriana recently, and also did win an open tournament as well. So SCV has been on point. So 2-0 over Mixu, nicely done. And then Lemon tied up score with his opponent. I believe that is Silky. No, he's on Super Kitty. Yeah, so other player. But takes down his opponent, or I should say ties 1-1. In the end, Elpis, they do take the win, 5-1 over PCEC. Leads it into Starlight Twinkle versus Toho Project. Young Zest, big fan of Young Zest, does take down his opponent 2-0. We have Triple H over his opponent 1-1, tied up series. And we had Jolly Loves 2-0 over Daydreamer. So big win there for Starlight Twinkle. Again, Starlight Twinkle, Elpis, and Little Fairy, those are the three big teams in the league that we expect to go far. They're at the top 3 of the settings already, and we'll see who can threaten them the most. Little Fairy, they had a rocky start because of the walkover. I think they had a... Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of another team. Where there were walkovers in... No, yeah. There was a walkover in the first round. But but I might be thinking of another team. Regardless, they had a bit of a rocky start to the event, a little bit of a rocky start, but you know, they are now catching back up and wishing the best moving forward. Round 5 is in 3 days and round 6 is in 2 weeks, so we'll be catching up on the rest of the group stage. Leads into the show matches. Super 7's number 43, we had a best of 7 between Estrella and Hero Marine. Now, if you remember at the start of the broadcast, we spoke about players that are teamless and how over the past 2 to 3 months, we have seen everyone picked up. Players like Hero got picked up, Classic, Shin as well, Creator this week got picked up, last week Showtime got picked up, everyone is getting picked up for EWC, and there was one player, one notable that comes to my mind that has yet to join a new team. Last year he was on Virtus Pro, that is Estrella. Spirit, he also joined a new team as well. Like all the other notables have all joined new teams over the past 2 to 3 months. Estrella, he's the only one missing, and you can see here that he is in form. I mean, we casted Estrella over the past month at this point. He's been playing, he's returned. One of the reasons why I imagine he hasn't been picked up is because he was inactive for most of this year. But once Dallas was confirmed, Estrella started playing again. He started playing again, and we casted Estrella beats players like Cure, like Beyond, like these big Terran names. Estrella, he beat Shin as well. Like Estrella, he's been popping off. And this is another example of that. This is the best of 7. And he takes down Hero Marine 4-1. That is a dominant performance. Now, I would say that Estrella's current best matchup is PVT. Again, I just mentioned he took down some big Korean Terran names. So for him to take down them and Hero Marine, I would say with more confidence now that his best matchup is PVT. I think that he's lacking a little bit more in the other matchups. He did defeat Shin, but it was very tense. It was very close, very clutch. Estrella series against Shin, I think that was closer when it comes to that match. But he has been having stronger showings against the Korean Terrans and European Terrans as well. So that's where Estrella has been thriving the most, I want to say. PvP has been up in the air, as it is with a lot of players, I think. But Estrella's PvP has also been a little bit up in the air. But this is where he shines. Give him a Cure, give him a Beyond, give him a Gabe, give him a Spirit, and I would favor Estrella in those matches. And I think these show matches are really important for Estrella because he needs to show that he's active, he's in form, and that he deserves to be picked up. Coming into Dallas, coming into the new season of EWC, depending on his performances, will determine whether or not he is picked up by a team. So I do think that these are going to be really important weeks for Estrella leading into the Esports World Cup, leading into these big tournaments like DreamHack, like Home Story Cup, like your GSLs. Unfortunately, like there are only very limited opportunities for Estrella to have these performances, but there are going to be qualifiers as well, I believe, for EWC. So we'll see if Estrella can make it. We'll see how far he can go. Because again, he's, in my mind at least, the only notable that isn't on a new team right now. So best of luck, and again, big win there for Estrella. Takes down Gabe at 4-1. Congratulations, and I wish him the best. I hope he's able to have more opportunities like this to show off, to showcase himself, and to potentially be noticed by a team as well. So best of luck. Likewise, we do head on over here to the Super StarCraft Global number 20. We did have a 4-player invitational here. We had a full European lineup. Okay, let's go. We had Skillous, Spirit, Showtime, and Young Jakob. Skillous takes down Spirit 3-1. Showtime takes down Young Jakob 3-0 as well. Takes him down 3-0, and we have Showtime with a much more dominant result here at 4-1 over Skillous. Again, Showtime, if you've been watching, for example, the May Mayhem, you will know that Showtime, he recently clowned all over Max. He had a strong showing against Hero. Like, Showtime's PvP is looking dangerous right now. And if you remember, I believe Showtime, he finished 2nd place in the May Mayhem, second only to Clem. Like, Showtime was looking strong against all the other competitors there. So Showtime is very in form right now. And it makes sense as to why he joined the team last week. He joined Sentinels last week. So Showtime is looking like a beast. Drops one map to Skillous, and only one map to Skillous in this tournament. So congratulations there to Showtime, as that leads us into our OSC tournaments. Here we go. Our OSC events are going to be coming up next. Up first, we have the OSC Elite Rising Star number 15. As always, slow going with the OSC Elite event, but we're getting there, papi. We are getting there. as the OSC event is progressing. We do have the first round wrapping up. It is single elimination for the double elimination. First round and second round has concluded for the most part. We have Jimmy takes down Aragfire 2-1, knocking him down to the lower brackets. Sebestes takes down Mixu. Nicarak takes down Art. Chance takes down UD Soldier. Great to see Chance playing again. Chance, he's very inactive. Chansey rarely plays in tournaments, so I always appreciate whenever he plays, whenever he competes. Chance, he is a Korean Protoss player, so big win there for Chance. Bappy takes down Lotus 2-1, and we still have more matches ahead of us. We have Milky Cow versus Lunacy coming up soon. We have Percival versus Art coming up soon, and Knife Phoenix versus Hydra. When it comes to low bracket matches, looks like Sig takes down Jomek 2-1. Knocking him out of the tournament. Big win there for Sacred Siege. Rebellion 2-0's Hon Mono. Big, they can't avoid each other. Even in SC2, they cannot avoid each other. Aye. Just like in StarCraft Evolution. But Rebellion does take him down, does knock him out. Homono is out of the tournament, but still plenty more matches ahead of us. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to catch up on. We'll be keeping you updated on a weekly basis. But best of luck to all those competitors in the OSC Elite Rising Star number 15. Meanwhile, that leads us into this week's King of the Hill, 211. We did have, an interesting lineup of players here. We had Percival. He goes on a win streak, takes down Sebestis and Moja, and he falls to Cham in the third match, but a nice run from Percival nonetheless. Cham, again, he has been more active over the past 5 months. This year specifically, Cham has been back, and I'm sure looking to compete in EWC. We'll see if he's going to be one to travel to Dallas. I'm excited to see if he is one to travel. Regardless, Cham takes down Percival, takes down Demi, takes down Geralt, Lunacy, Mixu, and Cristiano, and Shameless. Oh my god, he goes on a tear, specifically in ZVP. Shameless, Geralt, and Cristiano, those are some top European Protosses, and he brought them all down. Likewise, takes out Mixu and Lunacy as well. Strong performance there by Cham. He eventually falls to Skilless. Nikita, he pops off, and he is our final King of the Hill, taking down Cham, Jumi, Geralt, Nickrat, Percival, and Sebestis. So really strong performance there by Nikita, by Skilless. Very well done. Does claim the win in the end. As that leads us into the OSC mid-season playoffs, we were actually the casters. We did cover day number 3. And looks like day 4 also concluded as well. Now, for those who are curious, this is kind of like the I Am Katowice of the online tournament. I haven't Katowice isn't a thing anymore, but it is like the online finals, right? It's like the big event for online tournaments where players are invited in. It's like the world finals for online tournaments. That's a better way of putting it. And because of that, we rotate casters. I believe day 1 and day 2 was Dave Testa. Dave Testa casted the first 2 days. We casted day 3, and I believe Woody casted day 4. Do not be surprised to see Chicken Man cast a day, Steadfast cast a day, Just Jordan cast a day, right? Like typically, Eddie does reach out to the other community casters. He offers them a couple of days, and they come in, and this is like a community effort to bring this all together. I believe Wardy usually casts the finals. Usually Wardy or maybe Pig, they cover the final days, so they'll probably have you covered there. But we'll be mixing in as well. We'll be doing whatever we can, or covering whatever we can as well. As actually, I was curious when day 4 was being held. Day 4 is being casted right now as we speak. There you go. I believe Wardy is covering day 4, so there are updates actively occurring. But catching up on the challenge bracket, because the community page has yet to be updated, we did have plenty of results coming in. We did have Solar took down Papi 2-0. Young Yakov took down Jimmy 2-0. Big win there for Yakov. Cham takes down Baymarine. Cham takes down Cristiano in a best of 3. Cham, again, he has been on fire as of late. I hope to see him at Dallas. I hope to see him traveling and competing in other tournaments. Cham, at least online, is doing well. Spirit takes down Knife Phoenix. Minovi K takes down Demi. Mana takes down Sebestis. Trigger takes down Milky Cow. Mana versus Trigger is going to be fire. Like Mana, he is on fire right now. So is Trigger, so that's going to be a spicy matchup. Best of luck. Beyond takes down UD Soldier. R takes down Shameless. Skilless takes down Geralt. Shin up against Percival. Showtime up against Bunny. Yo, we got some solid matches coming up tonight. I believe the upper bracket matches are going to be played. So Solar versus Yakov, Spirit versus Mindle, Mana versus Trigger. Yeah, I believe those are being played out tonight. And on top of all of that, we have the lower brackets. You can see that not a single player has been eliminated yet. There are so many matches to play out, and best of luck. Best of luck. It's just such a massive bracket, and this is going to take a couple of weeks. This is probably going to take like over a month to wrap up, so do stay tuned. We'll keep you guys updated, and eventually we'll have our champion. Coming into this tournament, there are some notables that are missing. Max Pax, he's usually a regular in these tournaments. Max Pax is not here. Clem isn't here either. Those are the two that come to mind. Outside of that, everyone else is to be expected, like Solar, Bjorn, Showtime, Bunny, Shin, Skillus, Trigger, Cham, Spirit. We got some big names. But again, Clem and Max Pax are missing from this. They'll probably be here for the end of year finals. Remember, this is the mid-season playoffs. The end of year playoffs. That's where they're probably going to be featured. But not in this tournament, which is interesting. Interesting to see that they're not a part of this. Regardless, best of luck to all the players. And again, Wardy is currently covering this live and currently going over those matches. So do look forward to that. Do tune in. That leads us into our open tournaments. That leads us into our open cups. As we do catch up on our tournament on the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Let's go. Again, we do host our events on a regular weekly basis here. It is open to all, and this event was a special one here. I believe this event was clashing with the GSL qualifiers. So usually, regular players in our tournaments are players like Bjorn, Solar, Shin, Creator has been very active as of late as well. Some big Korean names, but they're not here. They're not here because of the GSL qualifiers. The GSL qualifiers that were clashing with our Open Cup, so because of that, we had a almost purely European tournament. I say almost purely. We had Lunacy, we had Rebellion, we had Prome, we had some Korean representation, but only a little bit. They got sprinkled in every now and then. So only a little bit of European representation. Mainly European here instead, so mainly EU focused, but it was a lot of fun. Again, the skill level of these players is very, very close, and that's all that matters here. And again, they were able to have some deeper runs and deeper performances without players like Bjorn, without players like, Creator kind of standing in their way. We had Shameless takes down Mocha, Azura, and Eva. Went all the way to the ace match. Shameless will take down Eba 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. Eba, we did follow his series, I believe, over Captain Fish, over Hacker is Top. Went up against Shameless. Again, had a very close, very clutch back and forth in that series to go the way of Shameless. Scrolling down, we had young Yakov. Yakov, he has been on fire as of late. Remember, he went on a tear in the Anonymous Cup, and here he goes on a tear as well. Takes down Rebellion, takes down Nickeract, but does fall to Shameless in the finals. It was very close on all the way to the ace match, and I thought it was going to be over real fast and real quick. If you look at the matches themselves, Young Yakov, he was up 2-0. He was about to 3-0, and I believe this was also clashing, if I'm not mistaken, with was this clashing with Euthermal's tournament, or was that the previous? No, that was previous week. My apologies. That was the previous week. But here, Young Yakov, he was up 2-0. All right, this was leading into Anonymous Cup. Yeah, true. We had 3 events back to back to back. That's what this was leading into. But Young Yakov, he was up 2-0. But then Shameless with the reverse sweep, a rare sight here, but Shameless with the reverse sweep, he wins 3 games in a row, and Shameless was this week's champion instead. Very impressive, very well done. Shameless, again, he is a young up-and-comer, and he's been getting better and better results, and he does take a win here. GG. This might even be his first Tuna Cup win. I know that Yakov has won before. I'm a little bit uncertain as to Shameless, but I think it might have also been his first win as well. Just quickly double checking, and yes, yeah, there we go. So Shameless, his first win in Sparkling Tuna Cup. So congratulations to Shameless for claiming that win. Young Yakov, he did win previously last year in 2024, but this year it was Shameless to win for the first time. So congratulations to Shameless. Big win, a long time coming, and we expect more in the future. GG. GG, well played. It also leads us into the Wardy TV Monday. This was the day after. 24 hours later, we had the Monday of the Wardy weekly, where we did have some more Korean representation here, as this was after GSL qualifiers to conclude. We did have it Shin. Shin gets his revenge. He gets his revenge over Rogue. Fun fact, Rogue did qualify for over Shin in GSL Season 1 in the qualifiers, so Shin gets his revenge, takes down Rogue. Strange was popping off. It's actually not on the Wikipedia page, but we were following Strange's series, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, I'm thinking of the previous week where Scarlet was competing. But yeah, Strange was popping off. He did take down a Classic 2-1. Big upset there in favor of Strange. Does knock Classic the hell out against Strange. He's also like a wild card. He's also a dark horse. And does go on these crazy performances from time to time. That leads us down into Clem. And Clem, he takes down Geralt 2-0, Cura 2-0, and Shin 2-0. Clem advancing on to the grand finals. Scrolling down, though, we did have some crazy results coming in. We did have Creator takes down Young Yakov, takes down Björn, went up against Hero in the semi-finals. Hero was able to take down Solar as well to make it to those finals. I want to say there was an upset here. Am I crazy? Did Mana pop off, or what am I thinking of last week? I mean, Mana's always popping off, to be fair. But yeah, we had Hero, of course. Hero rising through the ranks, taking down Solar, making it to the grand finals as well. And here we had a Hero with the, I believe, reverse sweep. Clem, he was up 2-0. So we had 2 reverse sweeps back to back. Clem, he was up 2-0 against Hero, looking very strong, very dominant. And then Hero fights back, 3 wins in a row. Now, fun fact about this tournament, we were talking about it at the time. This was a tournament without ping. Clem is in Korea. Clem, he went to Korea a couple of days ago before this tournament, and Clem, he did play from Korea against Hero, so ping was not a factor. Ping was not a factor in this series, which makes it even more impressive that Hero was able to pull off that reverse sweep and bring Clem down. So a big win there for Hero. But again, Hero, he is, I would say, the best Protoss player in the world, and we, coming into GSL, Yaku and I were of the opinion that he was the best player in Korea. We'll be going over GSL soon. But Hero, he did claim the win over Clem. Again, he's one of the few that can threaten Clem. Like, when I think of the players that can do so, I think of Hero, I think of Max Pax, Clem, I think of Serral, of course, as well. But yeah, Hero is definitely up there amongst them and does pull off the reverse sweep. Big win there for Hero. Big win. Leads us into the Monday Night Weeklies. As a reminder, last week there was no Monday Night Weekly, but this time there is. Also, sorry, I shouldn't gloss over it. When it comes to Clem being in Korea, for those that forget, for those that maybe didn't know this or didn't remember, Clem was in Korea last year as well. Clem, he went to Korea last year. If you remember, he went to Korea, I think it was in May? I think it was in May, maybe June. But if you remember, he went to Korea a month before EWC. And he went to Korea to train, to prepare. That's where the meme, where we started the meme about Trigger being the house mom, because they rented an Airbnb, and Trigger, alongside Clem, Estrella, and Future, they were all living together in an Airbnb. Trigger, he was like the house mom. He was like, making sure that they all stayed in line, make sure they went to bed on time and got some food and got some rest. And the team house environment worked. I mean, hey, that led into Clem winning. Like, they were all practicing training for EWC, and Clem, he ended up winning the entire thing and becoming our world champion. So Clem, he's back. He's back in Korea. Now, because he just got to Korea last week, or over the weekend, I believe the chances of Clem going to Dallas is quite low. Like, you wouldn't travel to Korea to practice, be there for a couple of days, and then travel to Dallas, and then travel back. Like, that feels kind of weird. Maybe he will. Right? Like, maybe he'll do that anyway. Maybe he's got the exposable like income to do that. But in my mind, there's a high chance that he won't go to Dallas because he's getting ready for EWC by practicing in Korea. In my mind, that would make sense, but we'll see. We'll find out, as we don't really have confirmation of the full lineup of players at Dallas yet. But if you don't see Clem in Dallas, you would know why. Now you know, because he's in Korea. So that makes sense. Now, whether Clem is in that team house environment again, that I don't know. Obviously, Trigger is still in Korea. We also made the meme of like Trigger. He was like Kevin, where he was left behind. where at the end of EWC, they're all leaving. Like, you got Astray, you got Clem, you got Future. They're all in the plane. They're like, yeah, we got everything, right? They look over, they see like an empty seat next to them. They're like, oh. Like, where's Trigger? And they left him behind. He's been in Korea ever since. He has been stuck in Korea ever since, and he's still there. And he'll be there for Clem at least as well, to make sure he's able to look after him and manage him. Whether other people also went to Korea to formulate that team house environment again, I do not know that. Obviously, I know that Raynor was recently in Korea. But I believe he's staying by himself. I believe Rainer's by himself. So I don't know if there are other people that will be staying with Clem. I guess we'll keep you guys updated if we ever hear from that, if we ever get notified as to what's happening. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But with that, we are going to be getting into the Monday Night Weeklies. Again, there was no Monday Night Weekly last week because the Ko-Fi didn't quite reach the amount to run the event. So if you want to support the Monday Night Weeklies, there is a way to support them via Ko-Fi. Just bear that in mind. Again, it is also funded by the people for the people, like many tournaments, like even our own tournaments as well. And this was, oh my, quite an event. And this makes sense. So after the Wardy tournament, I did pose a question to the chat. I was curious, okay, now Clem is in Korea. Is he going to go full degen like the other Koreans, like Hero, Byeon, Solar, Cure, Bunny? There are actually a lot of Koreans that now, at first it was like only Hero and Byeon, but slowly over time, they recruited, and then there's like a full set of degen Koreans that stay up and play in both tournaments, both the European, the Wardy event, the European Monday event, and the Pegasaur Weekly as well. They stay up and play in all three. There's a set of degens in Korea, and it's been growing over time. And I was curious, now that Clem's in Korea, is he going to join them, because he's usually a degen in Europe, or because Trigger's there, is he going to make him go to bed? I think we have the answer. Because Clem is not here. Clem and some of the Koreans are, right? So Clem, he did not go full degen. Now that he's in Korea, now it's time to go to bed at a reasonable, respectable hour. So he went to bed, and instead we had Hero, we had Percival, we had Cure as well. Not as many Koreans. I don't see Byeon here, for example, or Solar or Shin, or Bunny, so it looks like half of them did go to bed, maybe tired and tuckered out after the GSL qualifiers. But Hero, he was there. He was able to go on a very deep run all the way to the finals on the upper bracket. He took down Skills to 1, took down Maxfax to 0. Maxfax took down Cure in the process. Cure took down Mana. Big win for Cure, as Mana's been a beast as of late. But in the end, we had almost purely PvPs towards the tail end of the tournament. Speaking of Mana being a beast, look at his run in the lower brackets. Crazy. He takes down Geralt, takes down Skillus, takes down Young Yakov. Mana got top 3. Like, that's the thing. Like, Mana, he's like, I feel like he's floating. If you're not watching StarCraft, he's floating under your radar. If you're watching online tournaments, you know that Mana, he is like silently like one of the best Protoss players in the world. Like, Mana's crazy good right now. So he gets third place. Shout out to Young Yakov. Young Yakov actually beat Cure in the lower bracket. Big win there for Young Yakov. Very impressive performance, as he also does have a deep run himself, getting up to 4th place. And then we had a rematch in the finals. Hero, he takes down Maxfax 2-0 in the upper bracket finals and takes down Maxfax 2-0 in the grand finals as well. Again, there's a reason why we've been hailing Hero as the best Protoss player in the world right now. There was a time where you could argue between Hero and Maxfax. I would say over the past 2 months that Hero has taken that spot more convincingly, and that he is the best Protoss in the world, and Maxfax is number 2, at least currently. Again, depending on the season, depending on how things progress, they often do rotate and alternate, but I would say right now over the past couple of months, it's been Hero's number 1, and this kind of solidifies that a little bit more. So again, Hero's been looking very intense and very in form as of late. Now is the time to be peaking. That leads us over into the Pegasaur Cup number 32. This was this morning. As I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, I apologize. We usually cast these. We usually cast every single Pegasaur Monday, but not this week. Unfortunately, we were otherwise, my internet, if you saw, I did drop earlier. My internet has been very unstable, and my internet was not working this morning. I was very stressed out just because this is a very important week in StarCraft because of Dallas. And I called up my ISP, and they were like, yo, we can get someone down there on Monday. I'm like, Pappy, we got Dallas this weekend. Like, what? Like, I can't wait till Monday? That's crazy. I was very stressed out. I was very, very frustrated. Thankfully, issues were resolved, and we're back. And we should be good to cast tomorrow and to get into Dallas. But because of that, we didn't cast this event this morning. Unfortunately, we did not cast Pegasaur Monday, but Maxfax, he was able to go on a deep run here, despite struggling in the Monday Night Weekly. He did take down Master, take down Hapsaya, take down Estrella in the semis. Big win there for Maxfax, and does fall to Byeon in the finals. Byeon, he went on a tear here. He took Inca. Different Inca. Takes down Inca in the first round. Nick Racked, Showtime. Big win there. Byeon popping off in TVP. Takes down Showtime 2-1, went to the ace match. Takes down Maxfax in the finals. Also went to the ace match as well. But congratulations to Byeon for winning the entire event. I would have said that Maxfax was favored to win it all here. Oh, actually, looking at the top 4, I would have said Showtime was favored to win it all here. But Byeon, he does come out of nowhere, come out of left field. He wakes up early, takes down Showtime, takes down MaxPax. GG. Impressive performance there by Bjorn. Very impressive. Does take the win. That leads us into the Wardy TV Monday, sorry, the Wardy TV May, I meant to say, Wardy TV May event. We were going over the group stage last time, and the playoffs had yet to begin, but now we can indulge in the playoffs themselves. Here we go. We had our top 8. We had Clem, Spirit, Bjorn, Solar, Percival, Trigger, MaxPax, and Jumi. Oh my god, so a hefty lineup of players here. Now, as always, when it comes to these events, we do expect Clem and MaxPax in the finals. Those are expected based on this lineup and based on the set of players. Clem, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. That's Clem. I'm a little bit surprised the finals was not a best of 7. A little bit surprised. So I'm surprised that wasn't a 4-0 at the end, but 3-0 nonetheless. Again, Clem, he is the best player in the world. There are only a set number of players that can threaten him. I'm thinking of Cyril, I'm thinking of Hero, and I'm thinking of MaxPax as well. Like, I still do consider MaxPax at that caliber to be able to threaten these big names. But here, Clem was looking a lot more dominant. As this is also Korean Clem as well. True. This was played out on the 19th, so this is Korean Clem. This is not your regular Clem. So he's got that boost. Also playing on ping as well, and very impressive performance. Again, right now Clem, he's practicing his training in Korea, so expect him to peak in his own performances in recent weeks. So expect that. Meanwhile, shout out to MaxPax, took down Jumi, took down Trigger as well. Does fall to Clem, but MaxPax did well for himself, making it to the finals. And again, give him any other opponents, and MaxPax he'd most likely win. So yeah, I mean, Clem right now, he is the best player in the world. So expected for him to win most of these events. Congratulations. And that leads us into our next big event. That leads us into the GSL Season 1 results. Now, very quickly here, before we get into these results, if you haven't watched GSL Season 1, spoilers ahead. I also emphasize that because we haven't casted them on this channel. We're actually casting the finals tomorrow. We're casting Group B of Group Stage 2 tomorrow, and we're casting the finals tomorrow. I haven't seen any of the results. I haven't seen anything in regards to this, but I do feel like it's important to bring up just because we're coming into Dallas. And if we're going to be discussing DreamHack Dallas, we should be discussing the form of the players, and we should be discussing like the events leading up to DreamHack Dallas as well, the importance of the event. So again, just a spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the results of GSL, look away. I haven't seen them either, so I don't know what I'm about to look at, but it is unfortunately going to negatively impact our cast tomorrow, because usually I go into the GSL cast blind. I usually go into them blind, and you know, we experience that all together. But again, because of Dallas coming around the corner, I feel like we should discuss this. So coming into the events, we already discussed the Group Stage 1, but now we have Group Stage 2. We did already cover this. We had Hero, Cure, Bjorn, and Rogue. I think my biggest surprise about Group A is that Rogue, he was very confident coming into Group A regarding his ZVT, and he did lose 2-0 to Bjorn and Cure. Now, if you watch those games, if you watch us here on the CranKy Ducklings, you would know that Bjorn and Cure cheese the hell out of Rogue. Rogue, I would say that Rogue's biggest strength in ZVT is his late game. His mid to late game is very terrifying, very strong, very dominant. And Bjorn and Cure, I don't know if they made a pact, or maybe Cure was just watching Bjorn's series and he got inspired, but they cheesed and they all in the hell out of Rogue. They all in him out of GSL. It was non-stop cheese, non-stop all-ins, specifically non-stop all-ins. So I felt quite bad for Rogue. Like, he stepped in, he just wanted to play some StarCraft, and he didn't get to play. Got all in the hell out of the tournament, and Bjorn and Cure did have stronger performances. Hero, of course, coming in as the best Protoss in the world, does come in, does take down Cure, does take down Bjorn, does make it out in first place. There was a bit of a back and forth between Hero and Cure. I would say that Hero versus Bjorn was more one-sided. Cure actually, there was something about Cure. He was hyper aggressive this day. He didn't just cheese an all-in Rogue. He also went for nothing but 2 base all-ins against Hero. Like, it was purely 2 base all-ins versus Hero, and also we had some proxy and some all-ins against Bjorn as well. actually almost purely aggressive play. So Kira, he was hyper aggressive every single series, non-stop cheese, proxies, and all-ins against Hero, Rogue, and Bjorn. And hey, Kira, it worked. Kira, he came out in second place. Bjorn, he did struggle against some of the aggressive nature of Cure, so did Rogue. And Kira, he was also able to take a map off of Hero as well. So GG well played. Hero and Kira do make it out of Group A. Again, Kira being hyper aggressive for this group specifically, it was interesting to see. That leads us into Group B. Group B, I am unfamiliar with. I'm unfamiliar when it comes to the games themselves. We're going to be going over that, but we did have a classic. We had classic Gumiho, Reynor, and Maru. Now, if you remember coming into this, we did emphasize that Maru, he has been MIA. I should say specifically, Maru, he has not been playing StarCraft. He's not been playing. He has been taking a break, specifically during the off season. It was only recently that Maru started practicing again. So Maru, he's very much so out of shape. Despite that, I still did expect him to make it out of the group. I was expecting Gumiho and Maru to make it out of Group B. So to see Classic and Gumiho instead, impressive stuff. Classic took down Reynor 2-1. Again, Classic has been very much so in form as of late. Gumiho takes down Maru. If you remember, if you were watching the qualifiers, there might be some criticism here as to why Maru played Protoss, but Gumiho already beat Maru's Terran. If you're watching the channel, we casted the qualifiers of GSL, and they played in the qualifiers. They played in this season's qualifiers, Season 1 of GSL, and Gumiho already beat Maru's Terran, so here Maru, he switched to Protoss. I'm sure because Gumiho has some of the best TVT in the world. I say some of, Ryung, still a factor. But Gumiho, so Maru, he wants to avoid the TVT. He does fall to Gumiho. This is not the first time we've seen Maru's Protoss. We've casted Maru's Protoss plenty of times in the past, so does it again. Meanwhile, Classic takes down Gumiho 2-0. Big win there for Classic, impressive. I'll be honest, I do think that Maru would have had a stronger chance against Classic. If you remember, I believe they also played in the qualifiers, and Maru, he all-in the hell out of Classic. he did nothing but all-ins in his TVPs in the group stage as well against Trigger. So I would have favored Maru there, but he never got to Classic. He never got there. In the end, we did have Classic make it out in first place. Reynor took down Maru 2-1. Impressive performance there by Reynor. Very impressive. I'm very curious to see those matches. I'm very curious to see Maru's playstyle and how he's looking, how in form he is. If you remember, this was our big thing coming into this season of GSL, was I wanted to see how Maru was looking because we knew that he was on a break, right? We knew that he was not in form or not as well practiced. And if you remember, I was left wanting in the group stage. Maru, he went for nothing but all-ins in Group B, in Group Stage 1. He all-in Trigger 2 games in a row, and he all-in Rogue 2 games in a row. So Maru is just doing purely all-ins. So I didn't feel like we knew enough about Maru after Group Stage 1. Group Stage 2, I want to see those matches. I want to see how he played against Reynor. I want to see if he also only all-in, or if there was some more macro back and forth, and if we had a closer series there. Again, just to determine the state of play of Maru coming into the rest of the season and coming into EWC. So I'm very, very curious to see what happened in those matches. I'm very excited to cover them tomorrow. We're going to be casting them tomorrow, so I'm very excited. Likewise, Gumiho takes down Reynor 2-0. Big win there for Gumiho. I'm excited to see if he played mech. I had no idea, but there's a high chance he did. Very curious to see the difference between Reynor versus Maru and Reynor versus Gumiho. Very excited to see those matches, so I'm curious how that played out. Likewise, Classic versus Gumiho. Did Gumiho play mech against Classic? He does play mech against Protoss from time to time, so I would be curious to see them face off. Need to see Ryung versus Gumiho for the Duckling Showdown, 100%. Meanwhile, that leads into the playoffs. We did have non-stop Protoss and Terran to be expected here for the playoffs. We had Hero versus Gumiho, Cure versus Classic. Likewise, I don't really know what happened in those matches. We're going to be casting them tomorrow, so I'll have more to say on. I should say next week in the podcast. We're probably going to go over these matches more in detail, just because we're going to cast them tomorrow. So I'm excited to see how they did play out. Hero takes down Gumiho 3-0. Cure takes down Classic 3-1. Remember, Cure, he was hyper aggressive versus Hero in the group stage, non-stop all-ins. Curious to see if that aggression continues here in the playoffs as well, as that leads us into the grand finals. Went all the way to the ace match. Oh my god, that I was not expecting. I'll be honest, I was expecting a more dominant performance out of Hero, but Hero, he does take down Cure 4-3. Went down to the wire. Ay. Very, 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 very close. Closer than I would have expected based on how they played in the group stage. So shout out to Cure. Big shout out to Cure. He played well for himself, making it to the ace match against Hero. I did not expect him to make it that deep and that far in the tournament. Again, I was expecting like Björn in the finals, or Maru in the finals, depending on how Maru was looking. But Kjor, yeah, I feel like he's like the dark horse of the Korean Terrans. We speak about this all the time, but when it comes to viewers of StarCraft and fans of the Koreans, like usually Björn, Maru, and Gumi have a lot more. They have a lot more star power, right? They do. They have a lot more star power. They're champions. That helps, of course. But Maru, of course, best player in Korea for a long time. Björn, he has that 2016, GSL and BlizzCon run behind him in that story, and he's very charismatic or very likable as a player as well. He's, in a way, kind of. I don't know if I want to say charismatic, but like there's definitely a certain vibe around him that's very, very lovable, I should say. A lot of people can get behind him. Gumiho as well. Gumiho, he's very stylistic. He's like the only player at this level that plays mech on a more regular basis. I mean, Björn also played mech in the group stage. But Gumiho is also very stylistic. He's also been around for a very long time. Kjor, he's less bombastic. He has a more kind of introverted style, or more kind of reserved personality. Much more reserved. He's less outgoing, and because of that, I think a lot of people do kind of look over him. So for him to make it to the finals, really cool, really impressive, really cool to see. Big fan of Cure, and happy to see him doing well. Q doesn't have a nickname. True. But that's the thing. Like he just doesn't have that star power. There's not as many people that are drawn to Cure. Again, I feel like it's mainly because of personality. I say that innovation is that to the extreme, but innovation is that to the point where he became a meme, right? Where he's like the robot. He's like perfect micro, perfect macro, perfect control. Like the person without emotions. Like that became like a story around him. I think Cure isn't quite that extreme, unfortunately, so he's kind of in limbo around the middle, and a lot of people overlook him because of that. But he's a really good player. Really cool to see him making it to the finals. Really impressive stuff. And congratulations to Hero for claiming the first Protoss win in a very long time. Again, coming into this, we were already hailing Hero as the best player in Korea. As I mentioned before, the big question mark for this season's GSL was, how is Maru looking? How is he looking coming out of the break and coming into GSL and coming into this season of EWC? I've yet to determine that. We'll find out in the group stage. But yeah, Hero, he was coming in as a heavy hitter, which is why I'm very impressed that Cure forced the ace match. So GG well played. That leads us into the RSL. The Rival Season 1, and we have the qualifiers wrapped up. If you remember, we covered every single qualifier. We casted every single one. First, we had the NA qualifier, the Americas qualifier, where we had Cham. Now, I should also emphasize that these were server qualifiers, so players from Korea and players from Europe could also compete. But Cham, he popped off. We did cover these matches. He did pop off. He didn't drop a single map. Took down Azura, took down Lunacy, took down Mixu to qualify for the RSL. So we do have some Latin American representation going on. Likewise, Percival, he was the only Korean, or one of the only Koreans to sign up for this. He went for a deep run, took down Master Tavo, and he had a banger of a series against Geralt. It was so close, so clutch. Percival has been looking so impressive as of late. Percival, he has been leveling up in skill over the past couple of months. And Percival, he qualifies for the RSL. GG well played for the Rival StarCraft League. So congratulations there to Percival. Geralt, he played really well, and I did emphasize that I was looking forward to seeing Geralt in future qualifiers, hoping that he would make it through. Like I hope that Geralt, he put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. He came so close. Hope he is able to reprise his role here, as that leads us into the Asia qualifier. Again, the Asia server qualifier, a little bit smaller here, less players, less matches. We had Zaun, and again, Geralt, he also showed up. Like, Geralt, he is just grinding so much. He's playing so much StarCraft. He's been improving a lot as well, but Zaun takes the win over Geralt 3-1. We had some crazy intense matches in that PvP. I do recommend it. We had a crazy comeback out of Zaun. I think it was on Tokamak. So congratulations to Zaun. And Shin takes down Creator 3-0. Shin also qualifies for the RSL. So Zaun and Shin, they do qualify. That leads us into the European qualifiers, where we had Geralt once again, but he goes down to Mana. Mana, again, he's been on a tear. He's been a beast. Mana, he goes up against Spirit in the lower qualifying match. Spirit took down a Goblin, and Mana and Spirit, they had an ace match. We did cover all these matches, of course, as well, and they had a back and forth, very close, very clutch, but Spirit, he barely wins it out over Mana. Spirit qualifiers for the RSL. On top of that, someone that we also followed was Scarlet. Scarlet versus Inexorable, Scarlet versus Strange. It's great to see the return of Scarlet. Scarlet, for those that are curious, she did take a big break from the game as well. Scarlet, she's been in China for most of this year. She was not competing, not playing in StarCraft. She was focusing a little bit on Zero Space and on other things. But Scarlet is now back in Canada. She is now back from China, back in Canada, and back playing in tournaments again. And she's been looking pretty solid, but does fall to Strange. A lot of aggressive games. A lot of aggressive games here. Think Lavedeps. Think Strange, think Lavedeps. But Strange did end up winning 2-1 and went to the finals, to the qualifying match against Showtime, and we had a crazy performance here. Again, I feel like Strange, he is not really one that you think about when we think of top European Protosses. We think of MaxPax, Showtime, Skillus, Geralt, Mana, Cristiano. But Showtime, he was on fire this qualifier, taking down Baymarine, Scarlet, and forcing Showtime to the ace match. Very impressive stuff there by Strange. Showtime does qualify, but Strange, he did perform very well for himself as Showtime makes it through into the Revival StarCraft League. And with that, we have our players from the qualifiers. We also have our invited players as well. Switching our scenes over here to the main page, we do have our invited players. We have 2 Protosses with Classic and Hero. We have 3 Terrans with Bjorn, Clem, and Kior, and we have 3 Zergs in Raynor, Serral, and Solar. So a hefty lineup already, and we have, for the most part, our confirmed players here. We have 5 Zerg, 5 Terran, and 4 Protoss. Nice race distribution. We have a couple of wild cards in there when it comes to who made it through the qualifiers. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we still have the fan vote. Now, I believe there are restrictions to the fan vote. If I remember correctly, the players that are going to be available to be voted on to come into the event and to be a part of this are locked behind the fact that they have to have played in the qualifiers. I think there is like a stipulation where I think the organizers can pick certain players to add to that as well that didn't play in the qualifiers, but I believe playing in the qualifiers does, qualify you for being available for a fan vote. So fan voting is still ongoing, I believe still to be determined, and still will soon be upon us. So we look forward to that. Personally, I hope that Geralt makes it through. Like Geralt, he played in all 3 qualifiers. He barely didn't make it through some of these events. Like he was in 2 qualifying matches. I feel like he's deserving to get a fan vote, but at the end of the day, it's going to be like a popularity contest. Like if they put Scarlet in there, because Scarlet does qualify because she qualifies for a fan vote because she played, I can 100% see a lot of people voting for Scarlet, voting for some of these bigger names that have a lot more star power. Mana as well, right? Like Scarlet and Mana have, I feel like, bigger fan bases than Geralt, so because I can see it being a little bit difficult there, but I hope Geralt makes it through. I hope he makes it through. Again, Geralt, he puts in a lot of work. He's a really hard worker. He plays in so much, and again, he was so close to qualifying because he barely went down to Spirit and to Zan as well, who both qualified.
Here's a quick note. The voting has already started. It is open to patrons, and it will be running until Sunday. So if you are a patron for the RSL, or maybe you want to be a patron, then make sure to check it out, because yeah, we only have a few days.
There you go. So only a couple of days before Sunday, before voting closes. So again, if you're out there, if you're a Patreon, if you're a patron of the RSL, then make sure to vote. Also, if you're not, maybe become a patron to vote, to get your vote in, to make a difference, and to allow for a player to make it through. I don't know exactly which players are available to be voted on exactly, as I'm not quite privy to that information, but regardless, best of luck to all the players that are part of that, and we'll keep you updated next week with who does make it through the voting process. We'll let you know. After that, then the groups will be filed out. Now, when it comes to what we cover here on the CranKy Ducklings, we did cover all the qualifiers, that is true, but I believe the group stage is not open to community coverage, and I believe it is only going to be covered by the main by the people in Korea, by those in the studio. So Tasteless, State, Gemini, Ziggy, I believe they're all going to be coming together and working on this and bringing you the live coverage from the venue. I believe replays are going to be available to RSL patrons. So on Patreon, that's going to be available, but I don't believe they're going to have community coverage. So we won't be covering them, but we'll be going over these events on the podcast. We'll keep you guys updated on the progression of the Revival StarCraft League. I should also emphasize, and again, this is kind of a big initiative organized by those in Korea, by the foreigners or by the content creators in Korea, bringing this all together. It's a big initiative, and I recommend supporting them. Support them over on the Patreon. Again, this is part of the future of StarCraft. There's so much crowdfunding and so much community-run events, but that is what we're going to have to focus on post-EWC. Again, we don't know if there's going to be StarCraft at next year's Esports World Cup. There's a chance that there will be, but there's also a chance that even if there is, there won't be a circuit, and there won't be much reason for players to continue to practice and compete and improve in the off-season in between EWCs. So that is where tournaments like RSL step up. That's where tournaments like this need to be supported to be able to have something for these players to work towards and to play in. So do check out their Patreon. Again, it is definitely some big news to come. That leads us into DreamHack Dallas. It's only a couple of days away, papi. Only a couple of days. So DreamHack Dallas is right around the corner here. And do we have confirmation yet as to the players that are going to be involved?
I just checked. If you click on the website link that is on Wikipedia, we actually have a public participants list.
There we go. So we now finally have a list to go through. We have our players, we have our participants. But again, for those that are curious, this weekend, 3 days of StarCraft, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending on where you are in the world. For me, it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But again, depending on where you are, 3 days of Dallas. This is the first big offline event of the year. Remember, Stars Zagora still around the corner, Home Story Cup still around the corner as well, but Dallas is here. Dallas is going to be massive, it's going to be huge, and it's going to be what all players look towards. Likewise, we also did get news that Ravi, Fear Dragon, he's going to be there, not casting, but doing interviews and providing coverage, I believe, from the player pit and from the venue itself. So Ravi, Fear Dragon, is going to be there at the event. Likewise, we also have, I believe, the players ready for us. Where are they? Where are they? Oh,
Scroll down. It's a long website.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we have our participants from the top. We have Astra. Astra's going to be traveling. I know he likes to travel, but Astra's going to be there. Actually, you know what? Let's list from top to bottom. Honestly, it's a bit of a smaller list of players now that I look at it. We have Astra, we have Billy Zane, we have Clovis, we have Cosmic Cow, Daedra, Dincommon, Foxer, Gumiho. First big notable. Hero Marine. Gabe is traveling. Let's go. So we go Gumiho, we go Big Gabe, we have Isaac 1729, we have King with a 1. We have Mana. I get Mana. He is so in form right now. I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, Team Liquid, they're paying for that flight. They're booking. They know he's gonna win. So Mana's gonna be there. We have Nolan, not to be confused with Dolan. That is Nolan. We have Rainer. Okay, so Rainer is traveling. Is gonna be going from Korea into this event. We have this Tassori. We have Shokin. We have SOS. We already knew that the Streamer Zone boys were going. So SOS alongside Geralt, alongside Honmono, and I believe Percival as well. Or one other. There's one other. Yeah, Percival as well. That are going to be going. Who isn't on Streamer Zone, but it's going to be going regardless. So Esso is going to be going. TLO is going to be traveling down from Canada. We have Yolbo's son, who's also going to be competing. Zaun as well. Big name there. Team Vital. They're sending their boys. They're sending their roster. So Zaun is going to be a part of the event. We have Estrella. As I mentioned before, this is a really important tournament for Estrella. Very important, because he needs to perform well here. If he does, he'll be noticed, and then we can see him join the team. He's one of the few, if not the only, big notable top-tier player that is not on a team. So best of luck to Estrella. Again, Estrella, he just took down Gabe 4-1. He just took down Kyor, Byan, Shin. Like, Estrella is in form. I'm looking forward to it. Bunny. Oh, Bunny's going to be traveling. Okay, Bunny. Classic as well. Bunny and Classic, they're going to be traveling. They're going to be part of the event. CranKy Toaster, no affiliation with the CranKy Ducklings, but a Toaster is going to be there. Dingus Frog, a Laser. Team Liquid, they're sending out their AoE 4 players. Okay. That's interesting. A Laser, he doesn't really play much StarCraft nowadays. He's been playing a lot of AoE 4 and a lot of other games. I'm curious to see what he's looking like. He's not necessarily the most in form right now, but best of luck to a laser. I'm happy to be surprised because he's been playing more 2v2 tournaments than 1v1 tournaments, to be honest. That's that laser. Scoring down Future. Future's going to be there representing Matcherino. We have Gunk. We have Honmono. We did mention Honmono just joined Streamer Zone to actually be able to travel to Dallas and get support. He's going to be there. Jay laid off. Maru is traveling. I wasn't sure if he would. I wasn't sure if Maru would travel, but looks like he will be traveling alongside the rest of the Team Vitality boys. Really cool to see Maru there. Again, I haven't seen Maru's games at GSL yet, but after we cast his matches tomorrow, we'll have a better idea of what he's looking like coming into this tournament. So far, I haven't really been too impressed with his play, but we'll see how he looks tomorrow, and best of luck tomorrow coming into Dallas. Scoring down, we have Patches. We have Riser. Oh, nice. Riser's going to be there. Serral's going to be traveling to DreamHack Dallas. Let's go. He's going to be favored to win it all. We'll see who else can threaten Serral. Showtime, going to be supported by Sentinels. Really cool to see. I mean, again, a lot of these big names that picked up players have incentive, these big teams, I should say, that picked up players have incentive to pay for their flights and to allow them to travel to have their best chance possible to qualify for EWC. So, yeah, these big teams that picked up players should be facilitating for that. A little bit surprised that Creator isn't a part of this list. No, sorry, we'll get there. My apologies. I'm going like vertically, but apparently it was horizontal, so my apologies. It's fine. We're going vertical. So Serral is going Showtime alongside him. Spirit as well. Again, Spirit joined RSC Esports. So again, all these players that joined new teams, the teams should be paying for their flights to go to all of these events, to travel, to compete, to have the best chance to qualify for EWC. We have Spirit, we have Torrent, we have Zane. Zane is always traveling, always going. Awesome Sauce. Björn is going to be there. Clem. Now we have confirmation. I was curious, is Clem going? Is he not? He just got to Korea a couple of days ago. Looks like he is making the trip. So Clem, he goes to Korea for a couple of days, then bam, across the world to the Americas. It's a lot of travel. Hopefully he's well rested. That's what I will say. Hopefully he's well rested. Hopefully he is able to be in form. Scoring down Creator. Again, he just joined Alcadzia Esports. If you're joining a team, they got to be supporting you there, and they are supporting and flying Creator over. Dolan is going to be there. The ex-CranKy, the Danger Dolan is going to be there. Epic's going to be there. Geralt is going to be there. Harstom's going to be there. Oh, interesting. Harstom is flying over. Cool to see. Husky, Joshua, Lambo will be traveling. Mirak, Percival, we already did announce Percival. He's going to be traveling. Rogue is going to be going. Team Falcon's going to be flying him over. We have Shadowknight. We have Skillus. Nikita's going to be there. Spoonmaster. Trigger is going. Oh, Trigger. He might be fine with Clem. They might be fine. They might be booking a flight together. Let's go. As they're going to be traveling, we have the Zerg Girl. Zerg Girl has recently been playing and streaming more StarCraft recently, so cool to see. We have Big Daddy. We have a Carshul. We have Copium. The Copium will be there. Kior is going to be traveling. Dracula, Falling Ninja, Ghost Dog, Hero. Oh my god. Wait. You notice something? Why does it say that Hero's on Team Black Knight? That's not correct. He's on Twisted Minds. So looks like there's a bit of an issue when it comes to the teams there. But yes, he is not on Black Knight. Black Knight Esports don't even have an SC2 roster anymore. What's going on? You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna look up Black Knights, and I'm curious if they're a team in a different esport that has a player called Hero on their roster. That would make sense. If that. Yep, there you go. God damn it. So there's a different Hero. Hold on, is this TL Hero? No shot. So, fun fact. Actually, Kuro, I'll link you this. You can share this if you want. It's gonna be in live feed. Team Liquid Hero, before he retired, he was on Black Knight. He was on Black Knight Esports. This was back in 2020. So it's possible that whoever made this list just looked up Hero on Wikipedia. They saw TL Hero. They saw he last played for Black Knight, so they just put that information on. That has to be what happened.
I am like 100% sure that is how it happened, because this is not the only mistake I've noticed so far.
So they got their capitalization. This is uppercase hero, lowercase heroes playing. God damn it. So Funada, whoever is making this list, as they put in the wrong hero. God damn it. So obviously he's on Twisted Minds. He's not on Black Knight, so they got the wrong hero there. Meanwhile, we have Imp King, we have Jumi, we have Lunacy. Likewise, yeah, Lunacy's traveling. Oh, that's cool. Really cool to see Lunacy traveling. Mixu, Pike, Tyson, Ryung, Shin, Solar, Thunder, Warren, and Zhuge as well. Okay. Interesting lineups here. We got some big names, by the way. We got Clem, we got Cyril, we got Rainer, we got Hero. We have the best players in the world. We have Maru as well. Maru's also going to be involved. Again, Maru is another one where we're going to be curious to see how he performs and what form he's in. We have Showtime, we have Skillus, we have Mana, we have Geralt. We have all the best European, like some of the top European Protosses. Who is missing is the better question. When I think of Zerg players, I think Cyril and Rainer, they're going to be there. When I think of the Koreans, I think Shin and Solar, they're going to be there as well. Rogue, yep, he's going to be there. So all the top Zerg players are going to be there. Most of the top Protosses are going to be there, or if not, yeah, most of the top Protosses. Classic, yeah, he's going to be there. Zan, Hero, no, yeah, all the top Protosses are going to be there. Terrans, quickly checking here. Yep, Gumiho's there. Byan, Cure, everyone. Bunny. Are we missing it? Can anyone think of a player that we're missing when it comes to like the top players? Oh, outside Max Packs, of course. And Max Packs, like he doesn't travel. Wow. Like we even have Gabe. Like Gabe doesn't typically travel. We even have Spirit. True. Can anyone think of anyone that isn't traveling? Cure's there. He's there. Like Team Liquid, they're sending Cure, so Cure's gonna be there. Kappa. Is he even old enough to travel? I don't think he is. I don't think. Oh no. So yeah, I don't think there's anyone that comes to my mind. Like Creator's there. Ryung is there. They're all there. This is a very stacked tournament. That's crazy. Yeah, you might not be 16 yet. It's true. Yeah, at least no one that comes to my mind immediately. Like I can think of like I don't know, like Christiana, for example. But like at that point you're getting a little bit lower when it comes to like the rankings of the players. So I think like the best players in the world are gonna be at this event. Straight up. You're not missing anyone. So this is gonna be a tournament. This is a tournament. Oh my god. So tune in again. 3-day tournament over the weekend. The best of the best players in the world will all be there. No one currently can think of a player that's missing. So yeah, everyone's there. At least all the top players. Actually, you know what? Let me open up GSL. All the GSL players there. I believe so. I'll cheat and look up the Wikipedia page. Yep. Oh, sorry. I guess Nightmare isn't, but Nightmare is also playing Deadlock nowadays. Like he's not like like I wouldn't say that Nightmare is missing here because I would imagine he's focusing his attention elsewhere. A little bit surprised that Nightmare isn't going, considering he's on Streamer Zone, and Streamer Zone seem like they're investing quite heavily in setting their lineup. It's possible that maybe Nightmare has another event that's clashing with this, but also, as you mentioned, Nightmare, like his performance in GSL did seem like he wasn't playing too much. Like it did look like he was out of practice. I do think he's spending his time on other games, so I wouldn't necessarily say that Nightmare is one that's missing. So have we got them all? But with that, GG, well played. So we have all the top players here, and again, we do recommend checking it out. I did actually give Kura a photo that Jumi did post. Jumi, he's been traveling with Geralt. The Protosses, they're traveling together, going to Dallas. That was actually posted a couple of hours ago. So yeah, there are some updates on social media in regards to travel, in regards to players heading on over. So do recommend checking them out and following them on Twitter and on Instagram for those updates. Otherwise, actually, I guess now that I think about it, we are missing some local talent. Dola is there, Epic is there, Foxer is there, Future is there. Where's Miguelito? True. That's what I would say. Out of all the top players that are going, there's one missing. Miguelito. Where's my Vindicta, papi? What's going on? So a little bit unfortunate not to see Vindicta here. I think that might be the only notable player that's missing. Is Miguelito. And Cham. True. I was curious to see if Cham was going to travel. I know that international travel can be quite difficult at the moment. I mean, I say that. Like, remember, there were so many people coping. Like, I wasn't one of them. There were so many people coping that were like, yo, Dallas, traveling is hard right now. There's probably not going to be many people. We just listen. Everyone's there. Like, travel visas was not an issue at all. Or, like, I'm sure that they had to work hard for them, but, like, clearly, like, no issues here. We're not missing anyone. No one is being restricted by travel because of that. So, the copium did not last at all coming into this. Everyone's going. Except for, again, it would have been nice if Cham went, but I don't know if Cham ever wanted to go, if he ever planned on going. Would have been nice to have seen some Latin American representation, though, with El Chamaco, and Miguelito as well. How is casting / coverage going to work? Oh, right, I should emphasize that as well. We did actually fill out a form. I'm fine saying this. A form was released yesterday to the casters, to the community casters, to cover this event. We did fill it out. Because of that, we should be. We haven't been confirmed, but I imagine we should be, right? I don't think there's going to be any issues there, so we should be able to cover this event. Most likely, we're going to be covering the initial open rounds and then co-streaming from there. But I guess technically there's a chance that we don't get approval. We should, but there is a chance that we don't. If we don't, we'll just cast other events in the meantime, I suppose. I don't know. It'll be sad if we don't, but we should be able to be approved, and we should be able to make it through, and we should be able to cover the event. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. When it comes to talents, again, we have Fear Dragon confirmed. We don't really know what's happening with the rest of the talents, but I can safely assume that Zombergub is going to be there. Like, when I think of local talent, I think of Zombergub. She's probably going to be a part of the event. I would imagine they might bring in some of the Europeans as well, like Rotterdam. He's usually at these tournaments. Pig, they usually do bring Pig in as well. So those are the talents members that I'm expecting, but we'll see. We have yet to get full confirmation of that, other than Fear Dragon being at the venue. Other than that, when it comes to the event itself, it looks like there's 4 massive double elimination brackets. That is the quote-unquote open stage. The group stage is 4 groups, 4 massive groups. And again, if we're going to be casting any of it, that'll be it. As in, we'll probably be covering that, not the playoff bracket. So it's going to be 4 groups double elimination that leads into the playoffs. There's no, like, interim group stage. Interesting. I mean, at least the groups are double elimination, but yeah, there's like less layers, there's less stages in this tournament. It's just group stage, then bam, playoffs. So that's interesting to say the least. It is interesting. Playoffs is going to be the final day. Then most likely, like, half of the group stage is day 1, and then the other half day 2. But yeah, usually there's 3 phases. Usually, like, day 1 would be the open bracket, the open stage. Then day 2 would be like groups, like 4 groups of 4, so like 16 players, and then you get the playoffs. But they cut out that center group stage, which is kind of weird, is what I will say. It's kind of weird that they got rid of it. So it does feel like there's less room here for the players, less matches in a way. It looks a little bit more cutthroat as well, but regardless, at least the brackets are double elimination. That does help a little bit. Best of luck. Best of luck to the players. It's a brutal format. It is a brutal format, so 1 life is all you get, and it's going to be a lot of matches over the course of 3 days. So best of luck. Any idea what hours it will run? Yeah, there's a full schedule on the website. Expect like 12-hour days. Usually it's like 12-hour days. I think that on average that is safe to assume. And 12-hour days, 3 days straight. I'm sure, depending on what, regardless of time zone, you'll be able to find room to watch some of it live, I'm sure. So keep an eye out on Team Liquid and on the website for the official schedule. And again, we'll do our best to bring you as much coverage as we can as well. As we mentioned, like, we did fill out our forms to be able to co-stream and to be able to cast it. Whether they get approved, yet to be determined. Because we've done it in years and seasons past, I assume that we will be approved, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, that is going to be wrapping us up here for the time being. Again,
before we move on, I do want to mention that literally yesterday it was posted that the online qualifier signups are also open, and the online qualifiers are literally in the week after Dallas. It's not like a week break, it's literally a few days after Dallas is over. So if you are looking to sign up, if you're looking to participate, then make sure to take a look at that.
Yes, everything is condensed. Everything is just back to back to back. So as Kura mentioned, the qualifiers are going to be on the week after, so a couple of days after the event. What my biggest concern, of course, is going to be travel time. I believe everyone should make it home to their respective countries in time, but there maybe are some delays here and there. And again, jet lag is going to be a factor, so the players are not going to be in the best shape. But for those who are curious, the qualifiers are going to be taking place the May 28th. Jesus, May 28th. Bearing in mind that the event ends May 26th. I guess 25th, 26th/26th is when it ends. So 2 days later. 2 days later, bam, open qualifiers. So you got 2 days to fly back home, to rest up, and to get ready for the qualifiers for EWC. Signups are open, but again, they're going to be going and running from the 28th to the 30th or to the 31st. Actually to the 1st. So the 28th to the 1st. So we have a week there of qualifiers. We're probably gonna try to cast them. Again, I don't think there's any news yet when it comes to getting permission or getting approval to cast, but we will have to adjust our schedule most likely to accommodate for that. So I know Kura is going to be elated in regards to
I love it.
In regards to that, because we did have a bunch of events planned during that time. Our schedule's very much so packed to the brim already, so we'll have to adjust because of that. We have some room to adjust, though. We should be okay. At least for some of that. We'll do our best. We'll do our best to accommodate and to cover as much of this as we can. We might have to reschedule the podcast. We might have to move some other things around like MSO. Likewise, Stars Agora is going to be next week. Bear that in mind. So it's going to be Dallas, then EWC qualifiers, then Stars Agora. Bam, bam, bam. Back to back to back. Also, I should have mentioned this as well. We'll be going over this next week, or the next podcast is GSL qualifiers. GSL qualifiers were a couple of days ago. They were over the weekend. I did mention how Sparkling Tuna Cup clashed with one of the GSL qualifiers. We aren't going over those results yet, but they did occur. The reason why we're not going over them is because we are casting the GSL qualifiers. We're casting those replays in 2 days, in a couple of days. In a couple of days' time, actually the same weekend of Dallas, we're going to be covering Dallas, and then after that, or before that, we're going to be covering those qualifiers. So there's a lot of matches there to go over. After we finish casting them, next week we'll be going over those matches themselves, the qualifiers. So we'll keep you guys posted, we'll keep you guys updated. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up here for the time being. When it comes to casting, again, those EWC qualifiers, we'll most likely be prioritizing that, which means, again, our schedule is going to be a little bit messy next week. We'll do our best to accommodate. I'm looking at it. We might have to not cast K-Cup France, which is a shame. Like, much love to Kanoya, but if this clashes, then we might have to prioritize this over K. We'll have a look at the scheduling, have a look at the times. We'll do our best. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all had a great time, and hope you all got updated with our events, or with everything happening in StarCraft. It's quite an intense period because of EWC, because of GSL, Dallas, Stars Agora. Everything is just happening all at once. There's a lot to keep up with, and a lot to cast, a lot to watch as well. And if you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon. Patreon is the place to be! Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments, Sparkling Tuna Cup, Master 1 Open, and Sea Duckling Open as well. All of our tournaments are funded via Patreon, so you can help support us via Patreon if you wish. All the money on Patreon goes towards the players, not to us, so it's all to support the scene, all to support StarCraft. Eventually, after this stretch goal, our stretch goal is 500 USD a month. After the stretch goal, the next one would be to pay admins and pay casters. That would be a way to support us in another way, a little bit more monetarily. But for now, all that money is for the players. It's all for the players, Papi, all for the tournaments. So if you want to support the scene, you can do so via Patreon. We appreciate it. And as we mentioned, now is the time to support these kind of events, whether it's our Patreon or RSL Patreon or KSL Patreon. Post EWC, it all comes down to the community rising to the challenge, and when it comes to our tournaments, when it comes to support, when it comes to the players as well. So yeah, it's an important year for StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you all did do well. I hope you'll enjoy it, I should say, and wish you the best of luck when it comes to watching all the StarCraft coming up over the next couple of weeks. When it comes to all these big offline events, hope you'll enjoy DreamHack Dallas. I know that we will. With that, take care. All right, predictions. Very quickly, do we have any I mean, there's just so many players for Dallas. Any predictions here? Does Clem not win? I think the boring prediction is that Clem's just going to win. Clem's going to win it all. Whether it's Clem versus Hero in the finals or Clem versus Serral, I think there's a high chance it's going to be one of those in the finals. It depends on the seeding. It depends on what the finals bracket is looking like. But yeah, I'm very much so, especially with Clem training in Korea. Like, Clem is looking like a beast right now. He's looking insane. I'm excited to see if anyone can stop him, and how Serral and Hero perform against Clem. And even Reynor as well, right, true. Reynor's also been in Korea. Reynor's also been improving. Like, Showtime is also in form. Mana recently beat Clem as well. Yo, Mana? Dallas champion? Maybe. Maybe, Pappy, maybe. Congratulations for your internet not crashing during the podcast. It crashed once during the podcast, but at least it didn't crash again. True, didn't crash again. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed Dallas. Best of luck. Support us where you can. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings! Socials in the chat to be able to follow us on our social medias to be notified when we go live. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Our next cast is going to be GSL. I mentioned before we had to go over the results, unfortunately. Just because for greater context coming to Dallas. But tomorrow we're going to be wrapping up GSL Season 1. Tomorrow morning we have the Renovate Group B, and tomorrow evening we have the playoff bracket. So we're going to be casting non-stop GSL tomorrow, and then bam, GSL qualifiers the next day, and then bam, Dallas. We got Dallas on the weekend. With that, take care, everyone. Take care. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. You can follow me, myself, at light_VIP. I stream whenever I can. I don't get to stream often because there's just so much casting going on, and I don't see myself streaming for the next week or so. We'll do our best, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi. Ciao. Hasta luego.